numbers.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Cleveland Moto Podcast, episode number 480. We're getting very close to 500. Light them up, boys. Yay! There was much rejoicing. Super. We've had just a crazy week at the work, at the shop. Tom's had bikes down to the spinal column.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's been doing a complete...
I believe the term is rearranging guts.
You were definitely rearranging the guts. Yeah, right down to the central nervous system. Anytime somebody says, well, you know, the only thing that we haven't done yet is replace the entire wiring harness. Tom did that.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's it.
He was hate wrenching.
He was hate wrenching. Yeah,
It's been that kind of week.
wrenching.
And I got at least one more to do.
Yeah, exactly. There's one more.
At least one more.
Yeah, at least one more for sure that needs to be done. But yeah, it was definitely that kind of a week at the shop. We have a product that we've been selling for a while. I'm not going to throw anybody under a bus, but there's a bike that we've been selling that the motor came from one country and the bike came from another country. And right when they started selling them, there were a few of these bikes that people said, I noticed she runs a bit hot. And every time I'm riding my bike, it's up at the 80%, 90% range on the little digital LED segmented gauge or LCD segmented gauge. And everybody that bought these bikes was kind of like, should I be concerned with this? And the manufacturer immediately went, no, don't be concerned with that. Does the fan kick on? Well, yeah, yes, it does. Does the temperature go down once the fan's been on a while? Well, yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. But it never goes down below 80%,
right,
or so. And then some people in like Utah, Nevada, Arizona started buying the bikes. And the complaints or the concerns kept showing up on the user groups, on the Facebook groups and stuff like that. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with these bikes? And the manufacturer said, oh, there's nothing wrong with these bikes. They're fine. That's just the way they are. Now, if you've ever owned an Aprilia, you will know that Aprilias tend to run north of 60%. And then the fan comes on and they go back to 60%.
Yes.
They don't run at 20%.
The right? Piaggio BV 200 and 250 literally exist.
Right. And there are a number, and I've noticed this when I started messing around with Italian motorcycles, that the Italian motorcycles tend to tell you the honest to God truth. So if your bike is showing 20% on the temperature gauge, well, that's still very cold. Mm-hmm. And then when a bike is running appropriately in its running form, it should be 50, 60, 70%. Mm-hmm. And then the fan kicks on at 80% and it gets it back down to 50, 60, 70%. And so like, unlike American cars where we get into our car and expect the temperature needle to be down at just in the 1/4 block, like 25%. And that's what Americans are used to seeing, that bias towards the cold.
They call it. So I learned this at work because I was around some guys that are, way smarter than I am, but I occasionally, pick up a few things. Mm-hmm. And so they were talking to me because I was talking about the Dodge. And they were like, all Dodge cars, most Fords and everything, and all those gauges have a dead band of 25%.
Do they really?
So that means like when they're, how like basically when you turn on your car and it goes and it just sits there at 50%, like right dead nuts in the middle. Nuts. That means it could be at 30% or all the way up to 70%. And it's just going to stay there. Once it gets above 70, then you'll notice it start to climb.
Okay.
So basically on either side of that thing.
So they could put a dead band in there to settle fuckers down.
Yeah, because that way people are like, oh, it's right in the middle. It's perfectly fine. And look at that. It's running.
It's right where it's, the gauges are 5 by 5.
Right. Because you ever wonder why it's right in the middle when it's 30 degrees outside and it's right in the middle when it's 102 degrees outside?
Well, Ducati and Aprilia didn't get that memo.
I assumed that was because the thermostat was working inside the engine.
Right. Well,
yeah, it is. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying.
But as thermostats open and close, that needle should swing a little left and a little right as that thermostat opens and closes. Yep. Or you turn your heater on, that needle should drop quite a bit.
Right.
So kind of getting used to Italian bikes, over the past 30 years. And so when I see an Italian bike that's running at 70%, when it gets to 85 or 90%, fan kicks on. If it drops it back down to 60 to 70, I'm like, life is good. We're not having a problem. So I kind of was of the camp of, I don't think this is really a big problem. It is probably the general public is freaking out because in their Buick, it never goes above 45%, right? And so they're just freaking the fuck out. And the manufacturer's probably not lying. And then I got one and I started riding it, didn't own one, I just as a demo. And I noticed that the one day, it's about a 90-degree day, and it's about 80, 85 miles an hour on the freeway. and I'm using all of the illuminated segments of the LCD gauge. And I can hear the fan, even though I'm going 80 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
And I stop, and the fan is still going. And I was like, maybe this is a little toasty, right? And it still ran fine and did everything the way it was supposed to do. But in this bike that we had an electrical problem with, while we were doing it, I told Tom, hey, because the manufacturer finally admitted, not through a recall like we talked about last week, but through a technical service bulletin. Hey, folks, if you're not too busy, and if you decide you want to do something nice, maybe you could read this technical service bulletin and do the thing we're saying to make the problem that doesn't exist go away.
Right.
Right.
The ghost problem.
The problem that doesn't exist.
Right.
Well, Tom did. Tom?
I have been changing radiator fluid for, I'm 50, so it's been 45 years now that I have been fucking around with radiators.
In every type of internal combustion
And
engine.
I have had every type of glycol on my hands.
Yeah.
I have never in my life fucked around with radiator fluid and looked like I had been playing with Tidy Bowl. My hands were fucking blue.
Dyed blue.
It was dyed blue, literally dyed blue.
Dyed
Like I kept looking at my hands, like, what in the hell? And it was the fake Asian.
We didn't have antifreeze, so we used windshield wiper fluid.
I think Tom's about to wrap it.
It's they've taken whatever they had, they filled it with dye.
Yeah.
They faked. This is fake.
This
Fake
is quality
radiator
coolant.
fluid.
You can tell because we
blue.
know that we have bikes that come in with pink coolant.
My Element had
Right.
Asia blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Radiator fluid in it, and I have changed it. I know what it does to your hands. It does not stain them blue.
We have 4 different colors of fluid that tend to come in the shop on the regular. There's
Pink.
the traditional acid green. There's the pink that we're familiar
Green,
with. There's an
pink,
orange that we
blue,
get quite a bit,
orange.
and the blue for sure.
Yeah.
And
this
any
is
version thereof.
literally the only time I ever looked at my hands after I played around with radiator fluid and gone, what in the actual fuck?
So whatever the fluid is that they're putting in there that isn't Prestone,
Yeah.
and they're just adding a shit ton of blue dye to it, that's what Tom was covered in.
Oh yeah, and it was a it was a mess all over the back of the shop. Like it's literally, I have a bucket full
So
of
literally all these people that have had these problems, it's just because they put shitty coolant in it.
I don't even know if it's coolant. Like I don't know what the hell. I cannot fathom.
It doesn't smell like coolant.
Like,
It doesn't smell like coolant.
There is no part of this that reads in my head.
And it doesn't feel like glycol.
It is not propylene glycol. This is not propylene
No,
glycol.
it's not. It's weird. It's like some weird ester, like weird alcohol-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it ain't
Because it's
glycol.
real thin
And it ain't
and
slippery.
it beads real funny
Yeah.
and like I mixed it with the pink because the problem I heard before was gelling in some cases.
Okay, I will reveal without revealing the manufacturer. I will reveal that when the manufacturer spoke up about this, the distributor spoke up about it, not the manufacturer. When the distributor spoke up about this, he said, well, here's the problem. The motors are coming from one part of Asia, and the bike is being built in another part of Asia. So the motors are coming from the factory with some coolant in them. And that seems strange to me. Okay, but I get it. So maybe you're going to test run the motors at the factory a little bit, and you're going to ship them. That just seems strange to me that a motor would ship with coolant in it. But who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know much about how they do things. But then the frames of the bike, the chassis of the bike that they're putting the motor into, they're using a different brand of coolant there in that country, Thailand, and they're incompatible. And so they were getting some jellification, and that was blocking some of the passageways, and that was causing the coolant to not move happily through the system. Well, here's what I can tell you. Tom's change that he did to the bike, and of course, a replacement of its central nervous system, not that one has anything to do with the other. I took the bike out today, and the same bike that at 80 miles an hour would be at 90 to 100% temperature scale, coolant fan on, pert near all the time. Today, when I took it out and hammered it between 80 and 85 miles an hour and didn't let up on it, it never got above 60%. It never got above 60.
And this is Prestone Pink, baby.
Yeah, Prestone Pink. And we let it run too in the shop, put it in the worst possible condition is just let the fucker idle. And we let the fucker idle through like a lunch break. And it just fan on, fan off, fan on, fan off. No, very nice, very rapid cycling, super nice. Just little demand and little solving, and what a change it makes. So, hey guys, if you're riding one of those motorcycles that comes from a certain part of China, I mean, Southeast Asia, maybe not a bad thing to do is change the coolant. So it has one brand of coolant.
After yelling and screaming and kicking and seeing all the fail points in that, I own one.
Well, yeah, we're not going to go into that. I mean, it's just not, that's not what we do here.
No.
That's not what we're meant to do for this.
But it's definitely, and to be honest, it would be easier to get one than it would be to build one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not going to lie.
And here's the interesting thing.
Right.
Like, can you imagine, like, if this information didn't get out and this nice scooter that actually is a good bike or whatever it is.
Right. It's fine.
Yeah.
If it just nobody bought it because the rumors got out and stuff, it's like, this thing sucks,
that's
and blah blah whatever, and it's
that's
like,
the point.
No, everybody's been saying this thing sucks for 10 years. So
there have been plenty of bikes that I've dealt with in my life that people told me, oh yeah, this thing's garbage. Everyone that has it hates it, and it's garbage. In fact, there's a CSC in my showroom right now, a 250 that Tim Hempfling rode on goddamn Trans-America Trail and BDRs and everything else. That proves that bike that even we shit on, no shit, 9 years ago, is a good bike. So that's why I'm being a little more careful to say, let's not just throw some shade on something if it's something to fix as so easily.
But I was like, take it all the way back to the factory. Like I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the bike existing and having that as the problem.
Right.
Like, can you imagine being in the boardroom? So we chose to save like 13 cents per bike on this, using whatever this fluid is, and it killed the whole bike. You know what I'm saying? All the engineers, all the time, all the stuff, and whatever.
As long as it gets it out of warranty.
That's true. As long as it gets it out of
and
in fact, when it comes to motor building, as long as it gets it out of the factory. Right? Because that's the final assembly problem.
I have seen Zenon built, like the bike you've got, the black and white skunk thing you've got in the hallway right now. I can't remember.
They tried to kill John Giotti. They tried to kill Stumpy John.
But I've seen Zenons get 10 to 15,000 miles. Sure. If you go through them and do the things you're supposed to do, which I've done, unfortunately, you get 10 to 15,000 miles, and it's totally worth your $800. But you've got to go through them. And you've got to expect that this thing is going to shit the bed anywhere between 3,000 miles and 10,000 miles.
I agree. I thought it was just an interesting thing to bring up. Just thought that was an interesting,
cool. Absolutely,
night and goddamn day.
Yeah.
And so after I test rode that one, took it out and hammered it for a while. I came back and I told Tom, I said, "Hey Tom, you know the one that I'm riding?"
I got to fix that. I got to fix that one. Do the same thing. Actually, the funny part is there's 4 of them there. I got to fix all 4 of them.
Right.
So
do that.
We're gonna buy the TSB. Buy a lot of Presto.
The TSB. And not in this case. We're calling that a recall. Yeah, we're calling that a recall. And if we see any more of these bikes, that's where we're going first. Yeah. We're gonna draw a little bit of blood on the floor. If it's blue and stains, it's out.
Yeah.
You'll know the ClevelandMoto ones; they'll be full of pink.
At least you have that nice telltale. Like,
that is true.
Right.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
Well, the funny part is because I do the whole thing. I do the press and flush with like the water. I have a bucket of water in the back of the shop right now where I pour it through and cycle everything through. And I pulled the radiator out and flushed it through and everything and got as much as I could. And it still comes back a little bit purple.
Yeah, because dyes
you
dye.
You cannot get it out of the motor.
Yeah, it's not there.
But like, think about the radiator has a billion crevices.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing but a crevice.
Yeah.
There's plenty of nooks and crannies in a radiator, right?
Yeah. But even through 2 cycles, it still came out a little bit purple.
Okay, not hate mail. Patreon. Tony Summerscales.
We still got those?
We have been, we've always paid, Tony's fucking awesome. We love him to death. He's the guy that was almost got an old MZ and took a pass.
Yeah.
Right. And
the bad sidecar. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, great, great dude. So he just says, "Hey, Phil, listening to the latest podcast, it sounds like plans are formulating for a trip to the Isle of Man, for a return trip to the Isle of Man. Yeah. Sounds like the plans are starting to take shape. My email address is," we're not going to say it to the people, "please let me know if you need any help with your plans. I've just come back from a long weekend with a few friends in France where we did the best part of 600 miles on some great smooth and winding roads. We were an eclectic bunch with 2 BMW S1000 RMs, an Aprilia V4 Tuono, an old Fireblade, a Triumph 900 Thruxton, and me on my Victory Vision."
Wow.
Nice. Really nice.
And he hung with all the dudes.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
And this got me thinking of which bikes you and the Cleveland Moto gang would ride to the Isle of Man.
Ooh.
I'd probably put you on a VFR 800, but it would be interesting to know what everyone else would choose.
So where are we riding from? Because I assume we're doing the ferry and the whole 9 yards.
Well, I was going to say the first thing we have to tell people that aren't really, they don't know the territory. The Isle of Man is a goddamn island.
Yeah.
So you're not going to ride to the Isle of Man.
Right.
You're going to ride to a boat and take a nice boat ride, and then you're going to ride when you get to the Isle of Man. But the Isle of Man is a 37-mile circuit, the Snaefell Mountain Road, but there's a lot of things around it and all the different fun villages and cool stuff. And when the road isn't being raced on, it's still a road, and it is an unrestricted isle. So a lot of the places you're going to be going don't have speed limits. And they're big, beautiful monster roads that you could have a very high-powered motorcycle and use it correctly.
Do they leave the speed walls up after the
the
race?
air walls? Yeah. They're there. I mean, so they used to do they still do. Mad Sunday. So Mad Sunday is this thing that's like, okay, well, the race is, the whole week of practice, and then we go out, and then Sunday. So the Sunday between practice and the actual race is Mad Sunday.
Huh.
And Mad Sunday is like, so we've gone to the trouble of setting up all the air walls, and we've set up all the hay bales, and we set up all the signs and the markers and everything else, but we're not racing. It's the day off. And these are roads. This is how the bus gets from point A to point B, and this is how everyone goes about their business. And they just leave it set up in one-way traffic. Because remember, these roads are normally two ways.
Right.
Okay. So normally two ways, but due to the race, it's set up as a one-way circuit. Obviously, you don't have traffic going the other way.
Right. So
So they leave it set up one way. Right. And they let punters out. So they let y'all come. You don't. It's not even like a lap of history where you have to pay $10 and not race behind a pace car for 3 laps. This is just glad you came.
as much as
Try
I like
not to
doing
die.
dumb shit, that sounds like it would be terrifying. Not because of you're riding. It's just like all these. How many of those dudes are fucking hammered? Like at the Isle of Man. You know what I mean? Like,
Not many, I'll tell you that.
Really?
There's a huge amount of respect.
Okay.
There is a huge amount of respect there. And the DUI law there, if they catch you even lightly intoxicated on a motorcycle, I think they just shoot your cat first, and then they just cut your leg off after that.
Wow.
So they're pretty serious about it, and nobody wants to find out.
Oh yeah.
And they do have tons of cops on sport bikes
Okay.
that are
A
incognito.
lot more familiar with the streets than you are.
and they're incognito.
So they're just looking for, because like there's no speed limit, right?
Right.
So you just have to be safe.
You're looking for jackassery.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
And there are limits when you do get into certain zones.
Oh yeah.
So there's unrestricted portions of the island, and then there's obviously speed limits when you get into the towns and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But every year, and so that was always a thing for me, was like, I want to go, and I want to go on Mad Sunday and the whole thing. And so when Oscar and I decided in 19 to go, that we were going to go and just, this is a recon. We're not going to try to do anything crazy. We're going to go as pedestrians, and we want to see what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
This is recon. We're going to learn more about it. But because of the weather conditions and everything else, they did not do the Mad Sunday because they needed that time to get more qualifications in, and get more practice in, because we had so much rain. So that's a thing that everyone's concerned about. So back to Tony and his question, what bike would you ride? Because it's absolutely true that when you get there, we have met and talked to and dealt with a hell of a lot of people there that were on street legal 125s, that were on street legal, 200s, 250s, little bikes. And yeah, because you can do 37 miles and you can putt around from your hotel or your Airbnb to the restaurant, everything else on a small displacement bike. But if you're going to be going over the mountain road, you're not going to want to be going 58 miles an hour, pinned, especially when everyone else is going 158 miles an hour. So that does beg the question, what would you take? Now listen to their lineup of bikes that they took. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And even the Vision, which is bonkers as it is, our friend Dell rode, every time I rode with Dell impressed me with how he could make that Vision dance through the corners. It's a really good motorcycle. I don't know. When he says VFR 800, yeah, that is absolutely. I did the VFR 750 back, when I was a young person. I did the Grossglockner Alpenstrasse. I did those Austrian-German roads. Italian roads. I did that on the Interceptor, and I thought that was like the greatest bike in the world for everything. And it would be a really good bike for Island. Be excellent. The right combination between absolutely comfortable and also totally predictable. What do you think? Anyone?
Well, not having experienced riding in Europe,
Right.
especially in England, what are the laws regarding licensing? Because I
So
know
the
there,
good news is, Tom,
Yeah.
you're an American.
okay,
So your American driver's license, your American motor
Okay.
license means that you are exempt from the graduated license program.
so I can pretty much hop on
Whatever
anything.
you want.
Okay, that's fair.
Rent it, buy it, borrow it.
That's the first,
whatever you want.
First
Yep.
question I
You
have.
just pick one. Go crazy.
And so, you know what? I mean, like I said, I owned what is it? I owned a Hornet, but the 599.
Yeah.
And there's a new 750. I'm kind of curious about that, actually.
So naked
Yeah, nice little
cross-plane
naked
4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Good idea. Very good idea. Dan, do you have anything you'd like to?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I haven't owned
Yeah.
the quantity of bikes that you guys have, but maybe I go back to my friend's like about a 2001 Triumph Sprint ST
Fucking great
that
bikes.
just impressed the hell out of me. when I
Yeah,
rode it.
3-cylinder, kind of the perfect motor configuration, 900 cc's or better. Yeah.
Upright riding position.
Yeah. Give me a winner. We're gonna have the perfect Thunderbird for you.
Yeah. We're working on it. Working at it. The it's Sleepy, you got any ideas what you might?
I have a bunch, but
Yeah.
it depends. So if this was just a bike to get around on and I didn't have to bring all my shit with me,
Right.
the Tuono all day long, because I can, like, I've done 500 miles in one day on it, so it's comfortable and it does everything, and it's pretty impressive when you need it to be. But if I had to carry all my shit with me and stuff, then it would be like one of the BMWs, probably like the F900 or maybe the 1000 XR. But because like maybe the 1000 would be if you're going to rent a bike because you have more horsepower, etc. But you can have bags and everything on it, so it'd be kind of the best of both worlds.
That's a good idea.
And it's also a nice city bike. It handles well in the city and everything.
I can tell you I would not take my 1200 Scrambler.
No.
So hang on a minute. I just looked up my because like I said, I looked up the Hornet again because I want to see the 599 and 919.
Right.
The CB750 Hornet, the new one, we're not
New one.
getting,
No, we're not getting it.
is a parallel twin.
I know. Yeah.
Like what the hell?
I'm telling you, to say that we're
Twins are like
to say that we're getting a CB750 and it's not going to be a crosser rail 4-cylinder.
Twins are
is
now
a
the
really
thing.
weird thing.
I think it's because they've made them to the point where like they're pretty indestructible. They make respectable power for what they do, and they're like if you put oil in them, you're not going to kill them.
Well, the Hornet's supposed to be a naked CBR. Literally, the point of the bike is a naked CBR.
I get it, but
And now they're like, oh no, we're gonna make it a parallel twin. I'm like, that's not the bike you told me you were.
And
riding.
it is a 7. I mean, that's the deal with the Hornet is that it is, that isn't. They're calling it a CB750. So, it is
traditionally,
traditionally speaking.
But the
it
entire,
is what it is. But I'm going to pull it up just so everybody here can appreciate
the
it.
entire point. It was a Street Fighter CBR.
Correct. Yeah.
Now I'm disappointed. Now I've changed my opinion. I have changed my mind.
did you see
changed
the
my mind.
400 though? I posted today.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We'll get there. So you can't look at that particular motorcycle and go, oh yeah, CB750.
No,
Because that is a fucking Hornet. That's
Well, it has all the looks, but like I said, a Hornet's supposed to be a 4-cylinder.
I totally agree.
the face looks like a transformer.
Well, yeah.
Well, and that's that whole, my friend, you have left the phrase CB750.
You know what though? I like that the tails are getting fatter though.
They're getting wider.
Yeah, because they were all skinny for a while.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
kinda-
They're getting wider. Yeah. I just, when I look at this bike, I do think Hornet,
yeah.
Oh, no, it's a good looking
but the
bike,
parallel twin is
but it's
bothering me.
again.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's down to cost. I think it's down to money.
And
I think it's
I'm
just
not blaming him. It's probably an amazing motorcycle, and I'd love.
we
to
make
ride
a
it.
lot of these motorcycles and the whole deal. And you were talking about the Honda 400, right? Now we know that Kawasaki does 2 400s. You can get it as a twin or a 4. So you can get a Ninja 400 as a cheap and cheerful parallel twin for people that are just looking for a 400, the same people that would have bought a CBR 300 or whatever. But you can also get it as an extra spicy Ninja 400 R.
Those are going to be rare.
They are going to be rare. and they're expensive. And the only people buying them are people that are legitimately like, yeah, I'm gonna take that on track.
And pirates.
And it only has one. I think it has 1 hour.
But, all right, looking at this, at the thing that you got on the screen up there.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that Honda's been fucking up on, and it's kind of annoying. No, I'm serious. Like, so like,
that's fair.
Like BMW and other people, like Suzuki even and other guys, they can take their cheap bike and they just do little things like they go the extra step to paint the one extra piece of plastic to make it feel like you're getting value for your money. And Honda just seems like, yeah, well, let's paint those 3, and then the rest can just be pulled out of the mold and slapped on there.
Did they finally Americanize Honda's CEO C-level? Where the point where they're just like, nah, let's just build cheap bikes and slap Honda stickers on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like the Fireblade is the only one they give a shit. The Fireblade and Goldwing are the only ones they give a shit about anymore.
If you would have told me this was the new CF Moto, I'd be like, yeah, okay,
you're not wrong.
They're like, they have managed to make themselves indistinguishable, from the CF Moto,
and
the Chinese bike.
Might be the thing, because as big as we've seen CF Moto taking over the world at this point, because they're basically Hyundai at this point, where they're just taking everything.
Yeah,
right.
It might be that in the next 10 years, CF Moto is the big brand.
Could be. Yeah. Because this doesn't look enough different from all of the other bikes that happen to be Chinese, right?
And this very well could just be a CV500X.
It could be.
Yeah.
It absolutely could be. Yeah, it does have that thing. And I do get it. Yeah, it looks super hornety. I get you. But that parallel twin motor.
I'm going to change my opinion. Just a Triumph. Just throw something at me. 900.
Just a Triumph.
Bonneville 900.
Bonneville, exactly.
I love my Bonneville anyway.
Right.
So.
And you'd be right at home on that island.
Oh, exactly.
It's the right bike for the place. Yep. It totally is.
I might take my Thruxton and British Racing green. That's about the only difference.
There you go. I completely
because I'd love to have a nice 4-cylinder 599 or 919.
Yep.
We both talked about this. You want the perfect 919.
Yeah, I do.
And then I'm like, I'm in England. I should ride a Hornet. And I look at the Hornet now and I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, it's true. And that's when you are looking at, Honda 919s, when you're looking at the correct Hornets.
Yeah.
They're instantly attractive.
I spent a ridiculous amount of money putting a 599 back together, and then realized that I was going to get killed in New Orleans in second gear doing 120.
Yeah, it's
in Chicago now. I should look him up.
There you go. Yeah, it's just one of those bikes, and I don't think I would not take a cruiser. I mean, I love cruiser. I love rocking around on.
You know what? Cruiser. Give me that R1200C that they gave away a couple weeks ago. Let's go. I'll do an R1200C.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to. But if we do want to make the move, and we want to leave the, parallel twin aside, Honda does a 1000.
How much horsepower is that making though? That 750?
I don't know. That's a very, very good question.
I bet you 80.
I'll bet you it is.
It's probably going to be close to the NC700X we get. It's probably the same motor as the NC700.
No, there's no way, because this thing's going to be a Carver, and there's no way they're giving that a 5,500
No,
line.
but the new 750s,
and
they've opened up a lot.
Okay. Now
they're not the utilitarian diesel.
Hang on.
That was the.
Hang on for a minute.
Okay.
Actually, because I just looked at this. I don't know what 32 kilowatts means in American.
Okay. All right.
But apparently this is tunable, so you can get an A2 license.
Okay, that's a big part of selling bikes there.
Correct.
So here's a little contrast for you. If you go from the 750 to the 1000, then you get this bike. So this bike has the correct number of exhausts, right?
That is,
and that looks better.
Right. So that bike has the correct number of pipes. And
I'm not gonna lie, I have hated the Hayabusa for a very long time, but I saw a B King and I went, "Oh!"
Did you say 32 kilowatts?
Yeah,
35 kilowatts.
That's 43 horsepower.
Right. So that's that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, this is when we talk about they're building a bike that can be tuned or is factory equipped
just program it
to meet a particular licensure. And so you can have a 750, but it's a super, super slow S750.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how much tuning? Like, let me put it this way. My BMW is 809, whatever, and it has 104.3 horsepower.
But if you're buying a bike, because we don't have step licensing. Right. We've talked about this a lot, and it's kind of one of those things where we're all like, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea because Americans are dumb as shit.
Well, I'm not against it.
But we're not going to end up there in this next 10 years.
Exactly. Yeah. But when you buy a bike in an area that does have step licensing, the idea of having a programmable computer that you can go, look, dumb this down for me.
And then when I get my A license,
Well,
then they can turn
I
it
don't
back
have
up
to
again.
buy
I
another
understand
bike.
that, but I also understand engines and how much you can like. You're not going to get like you're not just going to change the chip and get 95 horsepower out of that motor.
Depends on what they restrict it
Yeah,
to.
but Sleepy throttled by wire makes it easy to control.
And Phil and I both know if you take a washer and upjet the washer out and upjet the Vino 50, for example, you can get an extra 5 mile an hour.
Go there, but it is one of those deals that this is a motorcycle that does say that in its unrestricted form, 755 cc's, they're talking about 75 Newton meters torque. They're talking about 67 kilowatt hours. Yeah. So, you're 75 horsepower, and
So
That's
it's
okay,
it's a third more.
right. And so you can buy it either way. No, actually, sorry, Steve, I will be corrected. It is 90 horsepower.
All right,
So it's a
and that's
750
respectable.
cc with
So
90
it
horsepower.
actually almost doubles then.
Right.
Well, then they must have it. So they must have it really.
Yeah,
restricted.
That's the
Like-
point.
Like,
Yeah.
well, obviously they have it half powered.
They have a number
Wow,
that
okay.
they have to make the bike make.
Right on.
And then
Right.
you can now ride that. You can now, instead of going to your dealership and buying a 400, you can go to your dealership and buy a 750
700.
and keep it for 10 years.
Yeah.
So they'll have a thing where you walk in with your new license. They go, there you go.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think so.
Now, see, that's an attractive side view.
Okay, yeah. Now that makes sense.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Parallel twin. Yeah.
So-
So parallel twin, 90 horsepower, unrestricted.
And
Yeah, we should
you
have
know,
led with the info. See, that
Right,
I would have been on
right,
board with it the
right.
whole time.
And it is. And what we were talking about earlier, maximum power comes on at 9,500 RPM.
Ooh.
And the torques are maxed out at 7,250. So that is a spinny motor. That's not a torquey motor. It's
all
six-speed
right, I'll give it a shot.
slipper clutch, all the fun stuff. It does seem to have all the right. It does seem to have all the right
Well,
moves.
the Hornets always had
What's
the
the
good,
weight?
the good stuff.
Let me tell you,
400.
we're gonna have to figure it out.
419 pounds. It was
Did you see
down.
it, 419?
Yeah, down.
Yeah.
Okay, so dude, that would be a fun
pretty fair.
bike.
So-
That's a
so-
fun bike.
So it weighs about as much as the GTS 300.
It weighs. No, the GTS 300 is 325. 325.
So a little bit more.
But what is important to those this weighs the exact same thing as a Moto Guzzi V7.
There you go.
And this has got a lot more horsepower. And
I'm saying,
it
like,
has
that's
a
gonna
lot
be-
more torques.
My BMW weighs
So
like
still two
485, 490, something
Right.
like that. And it has 100. So that's going to be very much equivalent. And that thing's fun as shit. So
Yep.
that's going to be a fun fucking bike, man.
Yeah, and I really do. I think that's great.
Dear Honda America, I know
Good
you
luck.
love plastic bodies.
Yeah,
I know you love bullshit.
There's that thing about when you have to meet the legislation in the country you're in, right? That's a big deal. I mean, it really is.
Because if that is, because we talked about motor homologation across lines, if this is the same motor that we already get, that's one thing. But if this is the entirely different motor, then well, we're fucked.
No, this is the joy of this, and that's family, motor family. So you can say that the same motor that's in the Honda ADV 750 scooter, parallel twin, that's in the CTX or whatever, NX or whatever series, is this.
I mean,
And is
because
this
it's
the-
2 cylinders and it's
Is this the new Transalp motor? Because that's a 750, right?
it probably is.
might be.
This
and then
is
this is tuned differently.
This is my assertion. My assertion is that why build 18 different motorcycles with 18 different motors when you could build 18 different motorcycles with 3 motors?
I mean, we really can't attack Honda right now, though. They did us a really solid because they brought us the DAX.
Well, I mean, yeah, we definitely appreciate that, and yay. So so I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, fun bike and Hornet. What's wrong with the Hornet?
So, John, what do you want to bring?
Parallel
to
twin,
Isle of Man?
four cylinders.
What did you say?
We were talking about, John, what would a bike that you would be most enjoyable for the Isle of Man? Because you're going to get to ride it. You're actually going to get to ride it
We went off on a tangent on the Hornet, but you told me
on the course.
on the course. Not be competitive, just have fun.
Just
yeah,
have
I mean,
fun.
you're not winning.
Just have fun, right?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I have a CB750 single overhead cam in my garage that I kind of miss. I had a series of those in my time, and I kind of need to have one again, up and running. And I think that'd be fun. I mean, just wonking around on the Whaling 4-cylinder So CB750
Right.
making 67
And
horsepower.
carrying your speed.
Carrying your speed, no
Right.
problem. Those bikes will do 80, 90, 100 mile an hour, no problem. I would like that. I'd much rather do like you guys were talking though, the green laning around there.
I think
that would be a lot of fun.
that's what most appeals to me would be for the next adventure to be on a dual purpose motorcycle. And there's plenty to choose from.
Oh yeah.
But so the ability to do that event on a dual purpose motorcycle. And for folks who weren't paying attention, Sleepy, the Honda CB1000 4-cylinder, that is 150 horsepower and 74 horsepower or 74 torques.
I just saw an article that said it's right underneath their $35,000 CBRRRR.
And this is the new street motorcycle with comfortable ergonomics.
The new Boldiar.
This is going to be the second most powerful bike that Honda makes, and it's that bike.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, I thought that was all right. Because I'll tell you what, 150 ponies, that's going to be a fun bike in the twists.
It has so much of like, hey, I'm an old man, but I still like to go fast if I can.
But it's got the got the single swing arm in the rear.
Dude, that car design guy.
Yeah.
I follow him.
Right.
How a fucking Japanese fucking motorcycle manufacturer hasn't hired him, or maybe he is.
Oh yeah.
But his stuff is sick.
Hey Dan.
Dan, what's Smith?
Dan, what's the noise you got there? What's that?
We're trying to get. Oh wait, here.
Yeah.
What's
Hang
the
on.
what?
What's the noise?
Oh, it looks like Chris Smith and Pete Hempel dialing in.
I don't think the speaker's working there, Dan.
We got it. Are you guys there?
From Ratson, New Mexico.
Wait, go back. We just got you up, Chris.
Hey Chris.
Get your levels real quick, Chris. All right. Go ahead. Talk to us.
Check.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, now go ahead, fill us in, sir.
Well, I got Pete here. I got Timmy. I got Jeff Spalding. And I got Johnny McKenna. We're missing one guy, but we just got back from dinner. And I'm going to let everybody pipe in a little bit.
Fantastic.
Pete here. Raton, New Mexico. Raton, New Mexico.
Right on.
Tim.
Yeah, that's
You have dangerous. You don't want to know why I'm dangerous yet. John McKenna here.
Oh, hey John, how you doing, man?
Awesome. We're about 1,200 miles into the trip. We left San Diego 4 days ago. We've been riding 4 days. First day out of San Diego, getting across the desert was 117 degrees. A little warm. Wow. I cooked my eggs. Today was a perfect day. We did about 250 miles, nice curvy roads, well sculpted, S-turns, light traffic, good weather. A little chilly this morning. It was in the 40s this morning, but it warmed up as soon as the sun came up. Chris has some adventures to tell you about.
Yeah.
You need to tell us dangerous, Chris.
Yeah, so we were going through a national park, was it?
Yeah.
And so we ran out of pavement, then we were into gravel. And then after the gravel, into washboard. And then after the washboard was craters or whatever. So at about, rutted dirt. So at about 20 miles an hour, I decided to get an up-close and personal look at how deep the ruts were.
Oh, no.
With my helmet and my shoulder and my leg and everything else. And the headlight of the monkey, yeah.
Oh, boy.
And, it's everything that you would expect.
Any damage?
Headlight of the monkey. Duct tape.
Did you survive?
So holding the headlight, did I survive?
Yeah.
I did. I did, yeah. The first fall I survived. The second fall, well, actually I'm in the hospital right now. We're podcasting from the ICU.
Congratulations.
So the headlight of the monkey was artfully duct taped back together with some black duct tape, and that will be a beautiful thing to see when we get back. What else?
We're just calling a little light custom work.
So, what was your favorite part of the trip so far? What did you see?
Oh man, just the desert landscapes out here. You're talking like the red dirt cliffs, and then black tarmac, blue skies.
Jerome, Arizona, I would say.
Jerome, Arizona was a super cool town. Oh yeah, Jerome, Arizona.
Yeah.
It's an old mining town that sits on top of a ridge, and there's a lot of like, I don't know, there's like it's like a kind of touristy town, like a lot of art galleries and real old like hotels and like just neat architecture. Actually, the town we're in right now has pretty neat architecture too. This was a former like mining town, but the mines have all played out, so there's like a lot of old neon and stuff here, and we're staying in a real old motor court hotel, which I think we may be the only ones in the whole place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been
Honda dealer.
Oh yeah, there's a real old Honda dealer in town too that we saw a monkey sitting in front of this Honda shop that's in like a storefront. Literally, it looks like a Lakewood storefront or something. And so we popped in there and we're talking to the guy. And the dude said his dad started it in like the 60s and ran the Honda shop until he was 99, and now the son's taking it over. And the son is like 68 years old or something too. And it's just complete old school mom and pop shop. I mean, like you don't see where we live, or you don't see really too much anywhere in the country. And the guys were super cool. The mechanic came out and talked to us, and he's the guy who owned the Monkey. And then they were looking over our bikes, and they were telling us about their business model and stuff. And really,
Tell them what time the window.
and we gifted them a ClevelandMoto sticker, which they put right on the front door, or right on the window next to the front door. Cool. And yeah, we got some pictures of that. We'll get some pictures into you guys. But it's been phenomenal. It's been great weather other than the heat. We had one little sprinkle yesterday, which we think was doing some like where we were, and you can see the smoke column going up. And then there was like one black cloud. So I think all that soot going into the clouds was like causing it to rain. And it sprinkled for like 10 minutes or something. It was like 85 degrees, and the rain was making us cold because we've been so hot for 3 days or 2 days prior to that.
Are you guys staying pretty
There
much?
was a point there after the...
Go ahead.
Pardon?
I was gonna say, are you guys staying on your schedule pretty well? Like, you think you're still gonna make it on your scheduled days?
Yes, we are. We have a dedicated route that we picked up. We stayed with GPS Kevin when we were in San Diego, and he set us up with custom maps and GPS chips, and we're just following his route. So we came across Southern California, Arizona. Now we're just about out of New Mexico. We're in the upper right corner of New Mexico, so tomorrow we'll cross into Kansas, but we're real close to Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle right now, too. So we're at the very end of the Oklahoma Panhandle and just to the west of the Texas Panhandle. So tomorrow we'll end up we're scheduled to go to Dodge City, Kansas tomorrow, which is roughly halfway across Kansas, I think. But yeah, we're on schedule to arrive back in Cleveland around the 11th. So we got 4 days in, and I don't even know what day today is, but probably another week.
So about the GPS Kevin plot.
Yeah, so GPS Kevin has this really sweet compound there in San Diego. He's got 8 acres on top of a hill, and he's got a shop up there with a bunkhouse in it, and then his house that he lives in with a patio that looks down into the valley below. And then he's got a genuine London double-decker bus that also is like sleeping quarters, because he hosts like motorcycle groups there all the time. It's kind of like a motorcycle bed and breakfast, I guess you'd call it. And so 3 of the guys slept in this old London double-decker bus, and the other 3 of us slept in the bunkhouse. And we stayed there for 2 days, and then the guys that flew in stayed there for 1 day. We picked them up at the airport and went back there and had his shop to work on the bikes. We got a couple things tightened up, and just got our loads settled and blah, blah, blah. And then we jumped off. And when we left there, he rode out with us for about 100 miles. And then he turned around and circled back home, and we continued east from there. But we've been checking back in with him every day, letting him know our progress and stuff, and letting him know that the route's working out. And
he actually has a London call box there, too.
Yeah. We'll send some pictures of his joint, man. He's got a really sweet joint there. Like I said, it's right essentially in San Diego, just a little bit north of. But he was super cool. He's a really accomplished rider, too. He's telling stories, and they're getting ready to go to Copper Canyon, Mexico here next week. and we're heading home. So we'll be there, like I said, a week. So here's Uncle Chris again.
So some of the vistas, as you're riding along, you can see 10, 15, 20 miles ahead. It's just a long, a long road into the distance, and it's really fun to kind of watch your progress going down along these roads. So what questions you guys got? Anybody call in for us?
Can you tell us more about eating shit?
About eating shit?
Yeah.
You crash.
Hey, I was right behind Chris today when he ate shit, and I'll tell you what, I have never seen anybody eat as good a shit as Chris did today.
So, Pete, have you made him sleep on? Pete, have you made him sleep on park benches at all?
No sleeping on park benches, but park benches might have been preferable to some of the hotels that we've looked at. It's been funny. It's really been funny, but
how many raccoons have you fought for lunch yet?
What's that?
How many raccoons have you fought for your lunch yet?
We haven't had to fight raccoons yet, but I would be willing to have a go.
The first hotel that we tried to get into yesterday, they didn't want to get us any rooms because there was no water in the whole hotel. So we thought, well, how bad do we need water? And we decided we needed more than we needed to stay in that joint, so we found another place down the road.
And I told Chris this morning, I said, Chris, we're going to make a dirt rider out of you. And then, well, we decided to give up on that plan.
Yeah, I don't think, maybe if he eats a little more dirt, he'll develop a taste for it.
Well, and actually, I thought Pete said we're going to make a dirt slider out of you, which, okay, I can do that.
So
that was a joke.
You guys are, everything looks like weather-wise, you guys are set up for the rest of your trip.
I think so.
I think you guys have managed to thread the needle. I mean, despite the fact that a storm just ripped through from south to north over the past 5 days that would have really dumped buckets on you guys if you were anywhere, east of Missouri 4 days ago. I think you guys have done very well.
That's called blind shithouse luck.
Yeah, right. Game on.
Yep.
We were locked into these dates, so the weather worked for us. Other than it's not due to any kind of good planning.
So, what are your next big attractions that you are looking forward to seeing in the next leg of the journey?
Well, tomorrow's Dodge City, Kansas,
right.
Which I just want to get there, and then I just want to get the hell out of Dodge. And then crossing the Mississippi, that's always good. I don't know. We'll just see what we find along the way. Like yesterday, we came across an old Indian trading post. It had been there since the late 1800s. And now it's a National Historic Park Service site. And we just saw it. It was right on the route, so we pulled in, and it was super duper cool. And it's still a functioning trading post, or I guess you call it a general store now. But they had people weaving blankets in there, and they had these old guns in there, and they had but you could also buy beef jerky and sunflower seeds and shit like that too. But it was super cool, and it was all the original architecture from the 1850s, whatever it was started as an Indian trading post.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, we're just kind of seeing whatever comes along the way. Oh, today we went through Los Alamos, which we had to stop at the gate and go over my ID and stuff. And
really?
We didn't really we didn't go to the museum or anything there, but we still went through Los Alamos, so it's kind of a cool town.
That's very cool. Yeah, when you guys cross the Mississippi River, there's so many great places, built up along there. So many great bars and restaurants and everything have taken advantage of that location. And I've crossed that river a whole bunch of times, and I always try to stop somewhere else for food and beverage. And I've never had a bad meal. I've never had a bad time anywhere along the Mississippi, especially on the Iowa side.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, we've been eating pretty well. We just came from a really nice pizza joint tonight. And then last night we had Mexican, and So yesterday we were in Cuba, New Mexico, which is right on the Continental Divide. So there was a bunch of like mountain bikers and hikers and stuff that were also going through this town. And we met this girl that was riding a bicycle from Alaska all the way to the tip of Baja. And so we were just talking to her like, hey, let's buy you dinner. So we bought this French-Canadian girl's dinner, and she was telling us, she sat with us and was telling tales of her trip and stuff too. So she got a little something out of it. We got something out of it, and it was just good karma, you know, to help out this girl traveling around. She was like 25 years old, and a pretty hardcore adventure that she was on.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's very exciting. So you guys, it looks like you guys are doing about, what, 250, 300 miles per day?
Exactly, yeah. Our biggest day was like 320. I think today was our shortest day. It was only like 250. Mm-hmm. But each day is about that, yeah. It's just kind of like probably an average of 300.
Those miles...
We usually get rolling about 7:30 or 8,
right,
and then we get off the road by about 4.
Yeah, those miles seem short, but those are monkey miles.
Exactly. We're going 40 miles an hour, 40 to 50.
Yeah.
Yesterday there were some real long flats, so we started doing like we were like in tight formation, nose to tail. And then when the guy in the front would start running out of steam, the guy behind him would slingshot him, and the guy in the front would fall to the rear. We just kept rotating guys to the front, and then we'd get like runs on the slingshot, and we were traveling at high 50s because we were going that way. Well, then you got to spread out when you get through the curvy stuff. You're not going to be.
Who was your cameraman there that got that shot of you guys drafting going into the mesas?
This is John McKenna. I'm the guy driving the support vehicle behind these guys the whole way.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm also the photographer, videographer. And I got some great shots.
You
guys
did, John.
love what I got.
Yeah, John, everything that you're posting up looks great.
I almost got Chris on his first nosedive when he hit the ground.
Yeah.
I came around the corner, and there he was sprawled out on the ground. The bike was flipped over.
Oh.
I'm honking the horn, trying to get everyone's attention because he's laying there not moving.
Oh, no.
It was, like I always say when I wreck, I like announce it like, oh, it's getting away. Oh, I'm going. Oh, you got to like call it out, play by play. Chris was like stone silent. I thought he was dead. He was laying there. I come around the corner. He's laying on the ground, and I'm like, oh my God. So we rush up to him, kind of pick him up and dust him off, but he was rather dusty.
Did you kick him a few times? You're supposed to kick him.
You got to kick him.
What was that?
Oh, yeah, kick him.
And are you guys?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So are you guys on? Are you guys using?
If he wouldn't have been in the back, one of us would have probably run him over.
Right. Are you guys using? Are you guys using a mesh communication system so you're open channel with each other?
We are. We have, there's 5 of us on the road, and we have 4 mesh, and then Chris is Bluetoothed into one of the meshes, so that, like, bridges him in. But the mesh is the way to go.
Chris is wired hardwired.
Chris is hardwired into somebody else's helmet with a 75-foot cord.
Yeah.
Everyone else has got mesh systems, and Chris has literally tin can and string.
Dude,
it's a motherfucker holding that string taut, too. Let me tell you.
Oh, so now McKenna, you understand that you've got to keep the camera on Chris, and now Pete understands he's got to find more dirt roads.
yes.
Well, the guy that laid out the route said there's some surprises along the way for us, and I think this morning was surprise number 1. Mm-hmm. And Chris was the most surprised.
Yeah, he was. It sounds like he was pretty surprised, yeah. Damn.
However, I did the first 6.5 miles crash-free, so
yeah, right.
I was pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, I think that was...
In Chris's defense, I've run a lot of off-road rides, and we were coming down a descent, and there was a lot of rain ruts, and the terrain was very difficult to read because it was still pretty early. It was only like 9 o'clock, so the sun was real low, and the shadows were horrible. It was tough to read the terrain. It really was. and I think Chris just got his front wheel in one of the rain ruts, and then it caught him out, and that lesson learned, I guess.
I know we're busting. I know we're busting Chris's chops, but the reality is you're on a 12-inch tire that is cosmetically an off-road tire, but practically is a terrible off-road tire. And any kind of washboard, any kind of rain ruts, that kind of stuff. I'm actually super impressed. I know we're having fun, but I'm super, super impressed with what you guys are doing.
The ground was hard as concrete back there. There hadn't been any rain, so like the ruts were like they were like gutters, but then there was like a half-inch of silt on top of it, so you couldn't tell whether it was going to be like a big sandy, silty trough or whether it was going to be like a half-inch of sand, on top of some hard pack stuff. It was really the terrain was difficult to read, and like you said, we're dealing with small wheels and very small suspension too. Yeah. So it was kind of a tough go.
So not quite an actual week into the trip, with basically a week remaining. You guys, we have to get a rating from you now. Not quite halfway across America. Okay, are you already planning next year's adventure?
Well, there's some things in the works. We'll make it a ClevelandMoto adventure next year. We'll make it even bigger.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea.
Oh God,
I'm gonna go to Mexico.
I'm gonna have to have Phil buy me a monkey.
They're not hard to get. That does sound like a great idea. I do love the idea of monkeys across Mexico.
Yeah,
or monkeys, just monkeys in the Baja in general. Yeah.
Ooh,
you guys have been monkeying around a lot.
Monkey Baja 1000.
Baja monkey. Yeah.
Baja monkey.
I think you do 400, Tom. Well, I don't think you need the full 1000.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in Cabo needs to see us ruck up on 130, 125.
But there's some really good restaurants in Cabo.
Yeah, and there's a lot of nothing in between them. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's true.
So
all right.
Okay, so what's hotel accommodations look like tonight? What are you looking forward to?
We are in an old school, like, motor hotel. It actually is kind of cool looking, the architecture and stuff, but it hasn't been maintained probably in, I'll say the last 10 years.
Okay.
It's a General American cinder block is the building.
It's your basic $80 a night room, so they give you a little.
So you guys are doing two queen beds per room, and 3 guys in one bed and 2 guys in the other bed, right?
We only have one room.
Right.
We only have one room with one queen bed for 6 of us.
Right. You guys
are you having a freak off?
Ew.
Yeah.
Hey, that's making a park bench sound really good.
No, a couple guys prefer their own room, so we have 2 double rooms and 2 single rooms. So we have a total of 4 rooms, 2, 2, 1, and 1. But in the past, we've had 3-man rooms. It depends what's available. Like, this is like a 4th hotel we had to call to find a place to stay tonight. I mean, it's a Friday night, not like this is a vacation destination or anything. But for some reason, the other hotels we called were all booked, and we ended up here, and it's actually pretty cool. I like this place.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I don't know that I'd bring the family here, but this is perfect.
But he'd bring his girlfriend here.
When you're thinking about this trip and you're setting the route that Kevin gave you guys, so far it seems like you haven't had to deal with a whole bunch of 18-wheelers or a lot of
No.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very few, very few. Now, some of the roads we're on even said, like, trucks prohibited, no trailers over 30 feet, that kind of, like, signage, And we're taking, like, scenic route, high road to Taos. So when you see signs like that, you don't get a bunch of motorhomes and 18-wheelers. But we have had some truck traffic, but we try to be respectful, and if there's a wide berm, we'll pull into the berm and turn our turn signal on, and then they usually get the hint and just go around us. A couple of times people were hesitant to go around, but for the most part, drivers have been pretty good. The roads have been good, and he laid the route out specifically for trying to keep more low-traffic roads.
Well, that's another, just in case we haven't said it enough already, GPS Kevin does a great job. And that's, this trip, if you would have done it the way that, we did in the past, we were just trying to make time. And so, you know, when we're on US Route 40 or you're on 70 or 80 on a 125cc bike and you're just over there praying to God you don't get sucked under one of those semis, every day is super stressful and super dangerous. And what you guys are doing just sounds like it was just designed to be more fun.
I think that's right. And, you know, he's done the route a number of times, so he knows that this is the way to go. This is where to stop. This is where to find fuel.
And he set it up with scooters in mind, so it's perfect for what we're doing.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are almost as fast as a Vespa 150.
Maybe.
We're just teasing, but it does look like a fantastic trip. We're all very jealous of you right now.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
That's good to hear.
We've only had one bad meal. It wasn't even a horrible meal, but meals have gotten better every day. The roads have gotten better. The weather's gotten better. And if this keeps up, I can't imagine what it's going to be like. You know, I keep thinking like, man, we're going to get a shitty day here, but it's just getting better and better. We're finding our road groove too. You know, like in the morning, one guy is doing this, the other guy's doing that. And, you know, one guy's unchaining the bikes while the other guy's getting the breakfast stuff out of the truck, and somebody else is going across the street to get coffee or whatever. It's like everyone's finding a really good rhythm. We're working together well, and it's been nice. We set a time to leave, and everyone's like ready to go on time. And it's yeah.
Hey, Pete,
as a group, we're really gelling.
Hey, Pete, how what do you have the gas stops down to? 4 minutes, 5 minutes? How's it going?
Well, you know, we have to stop pretty regularly. So depending what kind of a stop we're at a gas station, if it's just for fuel, we're in and out of there pretty quick. We take turns filling the bikes up, so we don't have to run 6 credit cards. One guy runs a credit card, we fill up 6 or 5 bikes. The next time, the next guy runs his credit card. So, and we always fill up Timmy first because he's a smoker, so we fill him up. Then he goes over to the side and smokes a cigarette while the rest of us are filling up. And then the truck pulls over there, and we have a water stop and maybe some bananas or whatever we're eating at the time.
Always all the bikes right into the pump.
Yeah, and like I said, we've got it down really well as far as not being a clusterfuck. Now, a couple of times we went in the gas station and you got to wait in line for a pump, and it's like Uncle Fester's inside. He's got his truck blocking the only pump, and he's like in there chatting up the girl and ordering a chili dog or something. I don't know what the hell they do. It takes like 15 minutes for him to clear the way for the pump, but aside from running into something like that a couple of times, we've been really efficient at gas stops.
Awesome.
We got to stop at least every 100 miles, so that's usually 2 hours travel time, and then we usually stop once in between for like a pee stop and stretch our legs or whatever. So we're stopping about once an hour, I guess I would say. And then there's been a couple of scenic outlooks or outcroppings where we stop, or we had to stop this morning and put on an extra layer of clothes because it was kind of cold. So, the 300 miles takes us.
And, well, we'll see if they come back. But fantastic. That they're just taking such a cool trip.
Might be back.
We'll see if they're still there, if they pop up. I wonder what they're going to do when they roll into how they're going to run across Mississippi. I wonder how close they're going to be to St. Louis.
I'll go get our maps and find out. I'll see where we're due to cross. Chris will keep talking.
Yeah, that's because it's just you can't help but run into some population there. You can't help but run into some. The Mark Twain National Forest is just amazing, huge, so much going on, but I've kind of crossed that river a number of different ways in a number of different towns. And if you're trying to avoid a whole lot of people, picking it, like I went up to Davenport, Iowa. I've done that, gone that far north. That's quite a bit north of where you guys are now. So, that Davenport, LeClaire area, just lots of really cool stuff to cross up by there. But I've also
looks like we're crossing from Missouri into like Carbondale, Illinois, which is which is funny because this trip is somewhat of a recreation of my 1984 bicycle cross-country trip.
Okay, cool.
And and that's where we crossed in 1984, was in Carbondale, and I got hit by a car there and had
Jesus.
to get I had to get new wheels for my bike and stuff. So it's funny, we're going to go across that same bridge, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just looked at our maps. Carbondale is where we're crossing, which I believe is home of Southern Illinois University. That's Salukis. Saluki dog. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
What is it? Salukis?
Yep.
No, I think it's the Salukis. My cousin went there. SIU.
I don't know if you can hear us.
I don't know.
A Saluki is a top secret sexual move. It involves,
$5
it
same as
involves a dog.
$5 same as downtown.
Details.
Oh, that's cool. That's going to be.
No, I've been in.
So
I've been in
I think,
Carbondale.
I think you're gonna. I think that's pretty rad. I was completely cheating and trying to look at the weather ahead of your trip, and I think you guys are doing really good.
Sweet. I hope it holds up. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, not to curse you guys or anything else,
All right,
but
dude.
All right, we're going to sign off.
all right, guys, have fun, ride fast, and take chances, or at least in your situation, just take chances.
Run slow.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
We'll see you. Take care.
Good talking to you.
Later.
Cheers. Well, super fun, super cool.
Well, in case anybody, you jumped in, you're like, why are these guys talking this? That was Chris Smith and everybody, and they're out doing their monkey trip.
They're doing a monkey. Yeah, they're riding. They're riding monkeys, Honda monkeys,
And we've
and
got-
one Hunter Cub.
And you got
the monkey.
Yeah,
you got a link to this on our.
We do, yeah.
our Facebook page
We have a
and
link
stuff,
up
right?
there. It's very easy to find, and they're just hammering along.
Yep.
God bless them. They're killing it. It's called MonkeyCub USA, all one word. MonkeyCub USA. If you want to
Monkey
check
puppy
out-
baby.
Yeah, man. Would you like to touch my monkey? When I see these, these guys on that trip, you're like, yeah, man. We're going to ride some monkey. They're going to be great. We're going to go on a nice big monkey ride. It's going to be cool.
Yep.
That's great. How far are we going to go? Across America.
Yeah.
Oh, settle the fuck down.
But this is, we were just talking about buying, renting 1,000cc bikes to ride from London to Isle of Man, which is like riding from here to Dayton.
Yeah, about Dayton. Yeah, not even.
And they're riding across country on 150cc, 125 or 150?
Yeah, 125.
Yeah, 125s.
Yeah, 125s.
And they're like, yeah, no, we're going to do like 10,000 miles on like 35 mile an hour bikes.
James and I ran into the Pickers. R.I.P. Frank.
Yeah.
Right. So he did not. He had a stroke and did not recover from the stroke. So that was his deal.
Was something
64 years old.
He seemed like he was getting thinner. Was there something else going
knows?
on? Or-
Who was that?
Frank from American Pickers.
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah, he passed.
That's sad.
And when James and I were crossing the Mississippi, the weather was shit. It wasn't great. It wasn't the high water mark of our trip. It was just, we were just clicking. We were just clicking miles and nothing really fun. And I thought, when I looked at the map, I was like, well, I got an idea where we're going to cross. And there's a restaurant there that's pretty famous. And I think that's going to be the cool spot. I think that's going to be where we want to stop. And we picked it and we went into the restaurant that I'd kind of heard things about and I'd never stopped at before. And they were filming. So they had the American Archaeology van out there and it was very cool. And the guys were super nice and the TV show was in its infancy. And I don't think it had even gone national at this point. But here we are, yellow mad ass 125s cross country. Definitely seen some shit at this point.
Mike was probably like all over you.
They
guys
were
with that.
very, very cool. And the production staff, which wasn't a lot of people, didn't really seem to pick up what we were laying down. And so Mike and Frank were like, no, you got to interview these guys. Like, you got to talk to them and talk about what they're doing, because what they're doing is wild. And this is a crazy American adventure. They're going from San Diego to Annapolis, Maryland on a 125.
Yeah.
And they're
See, Mike
taking
got
turns
because he's a motorcycle.
Right. They're
guy.
taking turns riding it, and it's just a hammer down, go, go, go. Super not safe, super,
Sketchy
deal with
as
it.
shit, yeah.
Sketchy as shit, bad weather, mountains, snow, Denver, all of it.
8
We took the
horsepower.
wrong route, right? Intentionally. But it was very interesting to see that. And then the production team came over to us, and executive producer lady, she comes up and she's looking around. She goes, okay, take some B-roll of their bike and take a, look at them with their helmets and the jacket and everything else. And, make sure to get that atmospheric shot and the whole thing. And she comes up, she goes, so is it okay if I ask you guys some questions? I said, absolutely. It's what we're here for. Right? Fire away. I'm good at this. And she said, and she goes, oh, right. So, all right. So where are you guys from? We're from Cleveland, Ohio. That's cool. And where did you guys start? Well, we started in Cleveland, Ohio, but we had to drive to San Diego to start. So we already drove across America once, but the bikes were in the back of the van, right? And so then we unloaded them. Oh, okay. All right. Do you wear helmets? Yeah, we wear helmets. Yeah. The law mandates it, and we're on bikes that go on their best 65 miles an hour. And we're going across America, and yeah, we're wearing helmets. And by the way, we got sponsored by Fulmer. They set us up with some cool helmets, and we got really nice Tourmaster jackets. And it's just, when we said we were doing this, a lot of our manufacturers, a lot of our companies were like, damn, that's insane. We're going to help you guys out a little bit, throw you a little something. And this has been a thing. And we're also proving this bike. This is a bike that's never been available in America before. Take a look at it. Click. They didn't care. I could not make them more interested in what we were doing than they were the cuckoo clock that was hanging on the wall inside the restaurant that they were going in to film this inside of this restaurant to show all the bizarre garbage that's hanging on the wall. Like it was the concept of TGI Fridays.
You got to know how to talk to these producers. I would have been like, listen, let me talk to you. What? All right. See these two guys right here? Yeah. They were in a very hardcore street motorcycle gang.
Oh, there you go.
They turned in their cuts, and to avoid detection, they are riding these two yellow 125cc bikes.
Nice. They're making an escape.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you ask him nicely, he'll show you his old lady's tits and bring you some methamphetamine.
It was
Just what would you say to them, though?
right. Be careful. Right.
Yeah, these guys are the real
I'm going to tell you guys,
sons of anarchy.
They're really great guys. They're okay, but don't say moped.
Yeah. Don't bring up the ton and don't say moped.
Don't say moped.
Don't say moped.
Don't say moped. Yeah, don't call it a scooter unless you want to get stabbed. Yeah. It was fun. We had a good time. Super good trip. Well, rock on, guys. Fan-fucking-tastic. Speaking of fan-fucking-tastic, we have new Patreon members. You kidding me? It's true. Stephen B. Very close to getting the punchlines at $5 a month.
Is that Cardi B's
Steve
brother?
B. No, but his handle is Stevel.
You know what?
Yeah.
Here's a freebie.
Yeah.
Here's a freebie. You ready? You ready?
Okay.
He only took tips. It's a classic.
Oh.
Yeah.
He
that's
just
the
gets
Brisk
the punchline. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a Brisk
He
joke.
just gets the
I
punchline.
got it. Now it showed
He
up.
worked for tips.
He only took tips.
It's the same joke.
Okay.
It's the same joke.
Managed to tell it wrong 3 times.
Right.
That's a charm.
Well,
Right? And meanwhile, all the people that are out there at under $10 level is like, okay, now I know what it feels like. And now the $10 people are like, what? Did they not get my check? The fuck, man? What is going on?
I like this. All the trash. Just
It is.
drop it.
It is not great.
Yeah.
So before the call came in, you were going to get into. We were about to get into that 400, the Honda 400 Buzzy Busy.
Oh yeah.
What we never got really fully into that, did we?
About the baby 400?
Yeah.
About
We got sidetracked.
the Honda CB 400?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's go back there.
Oh my God, was
We'll
that
go
a
back there.
sexy
We can
little?
go back there. It's
There's
a
no
cool
chance
bike.
that that's coming to America.
Oh, I don't
is
think
there?
there's any chance of that bike coming to America. Because we're going to tell you what's coming to America instead.
Well, Johnny Mac is going to lose it if you haven't seen it yet. It has everything that you like about old Hondas.
Oh, it does.
Oh, really?
It absolutely does.
This was built for Johnny Mac.
This motorcycle has truly hit on all the cylinders. They just nailed it. I'm very, very proud of them. I don't have a complaint. Sleepy, you can tell me which one you want to see.
It's the one with the gold.
Yeah, do you see it?
No. Hold on.
I'm scrolling, baby. I'm scrolling.
Let me find it. Hold on. It was announced just recently.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was the Hornet one. I thought it was the one that looked like the Hornet. But I think they did a couple of different liveries.
Which one is it? There's lots of
Well, it's the one with the E-clutch.
E-clutch.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that looks fantastic.
Hold up the picture you got, Sleepy. Yeah, that's the red, white, and blue livery. Yeah, that's the sexy one.
So this is it's the Super 4, CB Super 4 400 Honda 2025.
Right.
Crazy.
Look at that. They got the gold rims for you, John.
Yes.
The white, red, and blue paint scheme.
Yes.
The only thing I think if they would have done like the red fork bottoms.
The pipes are not squiggly like they should be.
Right.
They're supposed to go like this. It look like a little bit of...
Yeah, but I thought,
but I do like it.
yeah, I saw this and I was like, that's a John bike right there.
That is a John bike.
Yeah.
I love that bike.
That's no, that's the 1300. That's the
But that's what it looks like a
Bigger
baby
one.
version of that.
right. It's a baby version of that particular that bike. I am completely smitten. I think they've done a great job. I have zero complaint with it. I'm going to try to find that.
I like it's a 4 though. That's going to be the fun part.
It is, and that's why I'm a little scared that it's not going to come to our country. I'm just
Try Thailand motorcycle.
Well, see, now that
news.
right there, that's a Honda Hornet. That is the most Honda Hornet bike you've shown me in like the past 2 hours.
Yeah, oh, you're right.
That is a Honda. That is a 919. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, well, it is.
Yeah.
There it is. You had it. Go scroll up to the left.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Ta-dink. All right, we'll go ahead and pull this up. Oh, you tricked me, Sleepy.
It's not it. That's it. Oh.
That's not it, is it?
Z-Max.
No, that's not it.
Z-Max.
I don't know. Is it? That's the picture of it though, right there. CB400
Yeah,
2025.
I know, but don't click on it.
Okay, don't.
It'll
click
take you to the guy's personal Facebook page.
It's gonna be his butthole.
Of Z-Max. It's not. Yeah, it's
gonna be his butthole. Don't follow that one.
Well, I'm just going to go back because
Either way,
I'm
look it up.
tired of playing that game.
It's CB400 and it's perfect. It's red, white, and blue. It's got gold rims and it's a 4-cylinder 400, and it's just cool.
Yeah, and they did absolutely nail the styling. And that's we'll cast this out so you guys can see it up close. All right. Gold where the gold needs to be, upside down fork. 4 pieces of pasta, but John's right, they're not curvy enough. They should be much curvier. They that part could be better. But yeah, they got to make the CB400F swoop.
Yeah.
They all got to head. Yeah, they all got to head right. Yeah. It's like one guy's like, one pipe's like, I'm going that way. And the other guy's like, wait, I'm going to come too. Yeah. I do love, I absolutely love.
Well, give that like 2 days and WeBike will have those pipes for this.
Yes.
Those guys are probably obsessed about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely right.
And I'm sure they'll sell a square headlight conversion or whatever the 80s would have.
No, it's just a round headlight, but it's twice as big as it needs to be.
Right.
And then they're going to sell you ridiculously large turn signals.
Yeah.
Turn signals off the Gold Wing.
That would be, you know what, man? I have a set of CB350 turn signals. Though on that would make it perfect. It would just, oh, dude, yes.
Oh yeah. I do not. There's no part of that motorcycle that I don't like. And yeah, right. Yeah, that's.
So why do you think that they think that we don't want that, or is it more of a emissions thing?
I'm glad you asked. I think the biggest problem with that motorcycle is going to be the same problem they're experiencing over in Kawasaki land with the 4-cylinder 400, is that it's going to cost twice as much money as the cheap version, right? Because you see that thing, and when you look at the upside down forks,
it's probably only going to be slightly cheaper, or maybe the same price as a 600 4-cylinder.
That's what usually happens. Yeah,
I mean, that's what happened to the original CB1.
That's exactly right.
Nobody wanted to buy a CB1. You could just buy a CBR 600, and it was $500 more.
Exactly. And Honda's famous for that. If you look at the GB500, it was more expensive than a CBR 600, that cranked out over 100 horsepower. So there's a lot of reasons why, it's probably not going to happen, right? There's a reason the United States market one is not going to happen. There's a pretty good, I'll pull this image up for everybody at home, because I do think that there's definitely a market for it. My question is, are they going to go to the trouble? Because that inline 4-cylinder motor is not homologated. And so as long as that motor is not homologated, it's going to be an issue. And I think that's going to keep them out of America. They're not going to spend a ton of money for EPA testing and all the stuff you got to spend to get a straight inline 4-cylinder into this country. I fear that they're not going to see a return on their investment. Now they'll sell it everywhere else. That's fine, and they'll probably sell enough of them in Thailand to make them say America who, That's
What's this little sexy lady?
What's that?
What's this little sexy lady?
That's what it says is the Honda CB400 Super 4.
Oh shit, that's the other side. Oh, that's even better looking on the side.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So that's a non-artist rendering, right? Of what the bike's supposed to be. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, pretty neat bike. So I think that people are going to be real happy with it. I don't know if we're going to get it because, again,
think about it. Would you rather buy that or would you rather get a Kawasaki Z900 RS?
Right.
It'll probably be about the same price.
Yeah, and that's the point. So yeah, I'm lining up all day long to get that Z900, right? Totally do that. Now, here's what they are very proud to announce, though, in the anticlimactic category. In the, oh boy, so glad you did that. Making us all super happy. You remember that bike I bought a couple of years ago at AMA Vintage Days that I said, I've had an old one, but now I see there's a relatively new one over there that our friend brought out from Colorado that Pete and his dad brought out. Mm. And I thought, I've never had a W650 before, but I want to try. And I got a W650 and I was like, this is all right. It's okay. It's great. And I've ridden the the W800. It's a great bike. No complaints about the W series bikes. Now I'm starting to complain. So this is the W230. And unlike the bike that we all just said was completely spank-worthy, this bike is the bike that I don't recall anybody asking to bring in.
Unless you're running a motorcycle safety course.
There you go.
If you wanted something to compete with the TU250X, this is the bike for you.
And somehow worse, right? I've ridden, worked on tons of TU250s. Again, TU250 does a lot of great shit. Has fuel injection. Check. It's a cool bike. This is looking anemic. If it said Royal Enfield 350 Meteor on the side, I'd go, yeah, okay, sure. Because it is nothing about this is making me go like, yeah. It does have disc brake at the front and the back. It does have that. It doesn't have anything else though that I'm sitting looking at this machine going, I'm so glad they brought that in because it's just not. I don't see anything about this thing that I'm like, yeah, it's a really great machine. I'm sure it's going to sell like hotcakes. I don't think it is. And unless they come in I'm going to beat the Royal Enfield Meteor price point, I don't think they're going to do great with this thing. It seems to me like it's just Kawasaki going, okay, yeah, I guess like we got to build a sub 300 standard, I guess, because Benelli's got their Imperial 400 that the people at Benelli can't. They're like, Phil, you got to order 4 of these. People are going to sell like crack. They're going to sell like crazy. They're just going to be the best thing in the world. You're going to be so happy you got them. And I said, is it as cheap as an Enfield Meteor 350? No. Does it cost the same, even close? No. How much more is it? Oh, $1,200 more. Okay, then I won't sell a single one of them because you're hitting the same buyer. The same guy that was going to buy that, that Meteor 350, getting him to come up with extra money to buy a 230? I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. And this thing is supposed to be $5,599. $5,599, $5,600 for a 230?
I don't think that's going to be faster than a Grom. Like that looks like a low horsepower 230 cc.
Yeah,
because the 800 wasn't exactly thrilling. It was like 48 horsepower.
That looks like the KZ 200 or 250 motor. Exactly, like it's not even been a new motor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, John. I really, really am. And I just don't see this as being, I don't think that this is worth, any way you slice it, $1,000 more or 25% more than the Royal Enfield. Yeah.
But I'll say this, and I think, so do they have a new Rebel 250, right?
That's Rebel 300.
300?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody at Summit, now hopefully don't listen to this, has one, and I have never seen an uglier motorcycle in person. And like, it looks like some kid drew a cartoon version of the thing that we've seen in the newspapers,
right,
in the magazines and on the thing. It is, the motor looks like it's the wrong size for the frame. The gas tank looks like it's floating above. Like, it looks like, as much as we made fun of the pictures, in like physical in front of you, it is the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, I can't believe people bought it. Like, I looked at that thing and I was like, somebody that works here paid money for that.
Well, as bad as that Rebel 300 is, and the people that have it tend to like it.
Oh, it's hideous.
It's $800 less than this.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it works, it works. I'm saying it is an ugly fucking motorcycle.
This is an air-cooled basic. I mean, we've seen this motor kicking around a lot of motorcycles.
An old KZ 250.
An old KZ 250, right? I think it's the same exact motor. I don't think there's anything on this bike that's like, yeah, that's really interesting. I'm really, really into this.
Is it fuel injected?
What's that? It is.
Okay. At least it's got fuel injection.
It's not a Suzuki. It has fuel injection. I think you're okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But John's absolutely right. I swear to God, it's the same motor that's in that old KZ 250. Yeah. Let's pop that open here. It sure looks a lot like it. I'll open this up in a big one so we can all compare it. All right.
That's funny when you know you've been doing this shit a while and you're like looking at the case going, I've seen that motor before.
I've seen that motor
I could be
before.
wrong. I probably have. I mean,
No, but you're right. It does very similar. It does not have new vibes to it.
No, it definitely does not have new vibes to it. The frame doesn't have new vibes to it either. I'll tell you that. The, and for the absence of technology that it is, it certainly feels to me like, yeah.
It doesn't feel like that bike
actually looks better.
Yeah, it looks better, and it looks like it could have been built in the same time period. Like, this was the sport version of the other one.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, the KZ 250 alloy wheels, not too shabby.
No.
Right? Look pretty good. Tubeless. The new one, no, them's our spokes, buddy, and those are inner tubes too, and they're probably not the greatest tires in the world. Yeah, I got to say, man, I sure hope it hits for them, but to Tom's point, what's the MSRP on a TU 250, man? Because I know
I think they finally stopped selling.
I know they
which
did.
Sucks because it was the perfect little tiny go getter.
It really was.
So all right, so all these people are coming out with all these different bikes, right? We're seeing the 400s come out,
tons of bikes coming out right now.
Has anybody determined what the young kids are actually buying? Like, what is hot right now for? I mean, it seems like a few people have started to embrace motorcycles. Like the younger kids, I've started to see YouTube channels for kids that are 25, 30 that are, doing bikes. But like, are they making this in hopes that the younger kids are going to come and grab these lower CC bikes? Or
I don't know. They were selling leftover TU 250s in 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 4 years old, but the MSRP on it was $4,499 when it came out. And that's $1,000 less than this.
Yeah.
So this is $1,000 more. And I just have to say, Kawasaki, this thing had better be really, really good for in that price point, in that weight class, to have it be over $1,000 more than your closest competitor.
Yeah.
And I cannot, it hurts me to look at a Rebel 300 sometimes, right? It hurts me to look at it, but it is a Honda Rebel 300 and it is probably going to last forever. Right?
It's ugly.
It's got that thing. I did see the new Moto Marini. They're like, you got to go out and get the new Moto Marini. It's like a 650 or 700 or something like that. Rebel gas tank, Rebel frame.
Oh no.
It's just so hard to look at. Yeah, they hit us. They sent us a big thing. They're like, man, you got to be a dealer. This bike is just going to be, you're going to love this bike.
So you're telling me they remade the Moto Marini in a 350 that looks exactly like the Moto Marini from what, 1985?
Well, I'll pull it up and you can tell me.
Has it got the construction head gas tank?
You all asked me what the ugliest bike in creation
I know,
was. And I told you the Moto Marini
you.
and the Ducati.
Yeah. the Nevada or whatever.
Nevada.
Yeah,
No, not
right?
Nevada.
Yeah.
Nevada was the Guzzi.
The Indiana.
Yeah, the Indiana.
Oh my God.
That is the brand new Moto Morini 700 Calibro.
The fuck is wrong?
Calibro
with
like the lighter.
No,
Calibri
no.
lighter.
This actually looks like the Moto. This is a Moto Morini chopper. This is
their brand new bike, guys.
Yeah.
My God, the radiator's bigger than the engine is.
Yeah, I just have got to tell you that when I saw this, and and I've been toying with the idea of bringing Morini in, I looked at it and I was like, man, this thing hits me in so many bad ways.
It's so weird because their adventure bike is fucking cool.
This is
and their other bike was really cool.
You're missing it. This is the modern interpretation of the Excalibur. Yeah. This is perfect. This is exactly what this bike is supposed to look like. It is supposed to be hideous.
Dude. The rear fender that is, even in the world of Harley Davidson, is disgusting. That the rear fender is flat. It's not flat. It's pointing downhill.
It should be chrome.
Right. But it's pointing downhill.
Right. But this is, they should have called it the Excalibur 501 and this would have been perfect.
But dude, this was approved by people.
Correct.
They're buying, they want me to order them now.
Phil, they've forgotten what the Morini 501 looks like. You should show Sleepy the 501.
No, but people make mistakes. You usually learn from them and you don't make them again. That's the fucking problem.
Well,
this is exactly.
Keep in mind that you can get a Morini 501 as a Camel or as an Excalibur.
Yeah.
And 50% of the people made the right decision. And the other 50% of the people, I got to find the right picture.
Yeah.
I got to find the right picture. You got to do it justice. You don't want to.
This is exactly the bike it's supposed to be. It looks perfect. I mean, it's horrible, but it looks perfect.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, here we go.
See, but if it's a horrible bike, I want it to be fucking horrible. Like you can,
my friend, you're about to be so happy.
Yeah. No, see, that's a horrible fucking bike,
right? But
can we say that they nailed it when they said you want the bike to? How bad do you want the bike to be? Well, I think we can do that.
Right. And so the modern interpretation is beautiful. It's an homage to the Excalibur.
I don't even see that, dude.
Look at the tank.
No,
the tank is perfect. If they had done the back in chrome like they should have.
Look, but there's not a distinctive. Yeah,
this is a Virago.
It's a Virago.
Got in a fight with a Magna while looking at a picture of a Sportster
with a Ducati front wheel.
It looks like a crashed Virago that they somehow put another set of forks on, but they left the old place that crashed behind it.
So you guys are missing the obvious reason you're supposed to buy this bike: solid aluminum rear disc.
Yep, I saw that. Yeah.
Which tells you they were looking at a 87 Magna.
But Tom, to combat your idea that they redid this with such a distinctive rear fender thing,
right?
And yet the new one is flat. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
To my point, it should have been chrome from the seat back.
And
not flat black. But I realized they had to go cheap.
Dude, this was a dude in the design studio on mushrooms looking at a Virago. He was like, "This is going to be better."
So the new Moto Morini totally encapsulates this.
Yeah.
I just think that the new Moto Morini did exactly what it did, and that was it said Honda's doing well with the Rebel 300 and the Rebel 500, and they said, "Great. Do you know what we're going to do? 200 more cc's." And that's exactly what they did because it's a parallel twin, of course.
So what motor is it? Their own motor?
China.
No, I'm saying, but okay. Right.
It's going to be a Benelli. It's basically the Benelli motor.
It'll be one of those.
Right.
It'll be CF Moto.
Yeah. Linhai, Launchen.
Yeah, Launchen.
I've heard good things about the adventure bike, so guys seem to like them.
Yeah,
like,
your BMW does really great.
I'm not trying to throw any shade on that. What I'm saying though is this thing is befugly.
Yeah.
And when we do pull it up and we say, okay, well, if you look at a Honda Rebel 500, you can absolutely, understand who they ripped off. What motorcycle they stole. Mm-hmm. And when you go compare them directly next to each other, you're like, yeah, they did. That was the Honda Rebel.
I mean, it looks a little better than the Rebel.
Well, it's a little beefed up.
I wish they had done chrome from the side panel all the way to the rear wheel and then done a solid rear disc.
But this frame configuration of the rear loop of the frame going down and then 30-degree angle going up to be the back of the driver's seat.
Yep.
That is completely stolen.
Oh yeah.
From the Honda Rebel.
Probably came out of the back door of the factory that they built the Honda Rebel in.
I'm not joking. I think that you're probably right. Yeah. That's just a complete and utter. It's a ripoff, man.
Well, so look how terrible the Honda's fucking muffler is.
Yeah,
that looks like some fucking lawnmower, or it looks like the thing you can get at Tractor Supply.
So this is essentially the same thing.
Sacrificial exhaust.
Essentially the same thing that Lin-Hai did with the Honda Reflex. Oh, the Honda Reflex 250. They basically just went, you know what? We'll just put it out the back door and put a Lin-Hai logo on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty bad. It's pretty awful. The Honda, the fact that they're ripping off the Honda is one thing. The fact that the Honda always looks like it's undernourished in the motor room, in the engine room.
There's a lot of open air.
A lot of open air in there, a lot of negative space.
Yeah. And you know what bothers me? I figured out why I hate these gas tanks. Yeah. It reminds me when you took the fucking fairings off of a sport bike to like stunt it, but it always had that gap underneath the tank because the fairing was gone.
Yeah.
That's the way it looks. It looks like they took a fairing off.
Well, I mean, at least this one kind of fills in.
I like the way they put that giant phony baloney aluminum plate in front of the cylinders to fill up that empty space.
Yep.
Yeah. That's not obvious or anything.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought, hey, I'm not trying to shit all over Marini, but this motorcycle, we all rode the SRV 300, and it's a sexy motorcycle. That V-twin motor was a very nice, very responsive engine.
They were so close to the Excalibur.
Yeah.
So what are they offering? So they offer this. They offer the adventure bike. Don't they have like a sport version of this thing too?
They got a sport bike, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't want it to turn it into a Motor Marini jam session, but let's see what they've got for the U.S. market. We'll go ahead and pull it up. We'll give them a little love.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know like they must be expanding because they only had like 2 or 3 bikes originally.
Yeah, and only got a couple of bikes that they brought into the U.S. market for sure.
Okay,
because it's expensive,
right?
And I posted that thing. Y'all saw the list. I posted a list up of the top 10 motorcycle purchasing countries, and we're not on it.
Mm-mm.
We're not even fucking close to being on it, right? And when you look at how far off of it that we are, it's kind of embarrassing. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. And to think that we have any say whatsoever to even suggest like, oh, but I want to build a motorcycle for me. They don't care about you.
Right.
There are 10,000 of you in Thailand. There are so many people that aren't you that they want to build motorcycles for, and they're going to make a lot of money doing it. So if they're catering to you for even a second, they're losing their ass, right?
Right.
Yeah. And the X-Cape is the bike you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's $6,999 right now.
Okay.
Right. And the SCR, the Scrambler, that's also $1,000 off. So we'll go down here real quick so you guys can see them.
Oh my God, they have a bagger version of it.
They do have a bagger for $67.99. Wow. So for $800 more, you get a bigger windshield and bags, which is actually a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah.
If you're buying luggage, that is a
that helps that bike a lot. It
sure
doesn't look like a pile of shit with the bags on it.
Well, it's also because it's black and you can't see where the gas tank starts and stops.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. The black paint does a lot to help that bike.
And so does that fairing in the bags.
And so do those,
really does, man.
Right. So do those Sons of Anarchy bags. Yeah.
The club fairing.
The club fairing and the
Probably
club
has
bags.
a holster in the side.
It does. It's designed for concealed carry. Yeah. Yeah. So when you look at their adventure, I mean, because their adventure is $69.99. So they've got leftover 2023s and they're giving you a cool $1,000 off.
Wow.
The SE, they're, like I said, they've got leftover 2023s. They're willing to deal. Pretty cool. The Roadsters, but still, just keep in mind that this is these are 650 parallel twins, right? And they're asking you for $65.99 or $68.99 respectively. And that STR Sport Roadster, I'll pull it up so you guys can see it. It looks old, The STR Sport Roadster does not look like a new bike. It looks like, I hate to say it, but it looks like a Chinese bike from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which might be what it is, but it doesn't look fresh, right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it doesn't look fresh. It's upside downs and stuff. The Scramblers, they're not terrible looking. No. They're not terrible looking. Yeah. But again, this is, you know, I question how much room we're going to have in the market with ClevelandMoto kicking down big doors, right? And making a big splash on a lot of bikes. I have not had a single human being come into my shop and say, can you tell me more about these Moto Marinis? Do you know who the local dealer is for them? Not once. Right. Nobody said anything. I've had more people ask questions about Urals than this bike, right? So
that's good to know.
Right. So the demand is pretty low. You know, the demand for the machine is pretty low, at least in Cleveland, Ohio.
Sure.
Right. So, I mean, I can't speak to the rest of the world at all. But yeah, that's what that is. Let's see. Anything else that I had fun? I pulled up a couple of different things for us here. When I see this market that we're going into right now, there is a shit ton of panic. There is an absolute shit ton of panic. There's also a hell of a lot of fear mongering. A story came out that talked about ClevelandMotos being disallowed for the American market. Yep, Dan, bring it up for us, buddy.
U.S. lawmakers looking to ban ClevelandMoto via connected vehicle embargo.
Okay, now.
Wow.
The whole thing about connected vehicle embargo, that's where you have to actually read the article. Because they're not going to ban them because they're unsafe. They're going to ban them because that vehicle becomes a source of data. And that's a cybersecurity thing, is exactly what this is. And there are when we're talking about connected vehicle embargoes, what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, okay, we don't want our automobiles and motorcycles and things like that to be stealing all the data from your phone and transmitting it into a Snapchat style, children's social media type thing. And, the tiki-takis or whatever, right? That's what they're saying. They're not saying that the vehicle's dangerous. They're not saying that the vehicle's unfit for the roads. What they're saying is the software package that's being offered on the vehicle violates the United States rules on connected vehicles.
And I think they're saying this about everything, not just motorcycles, anything from China.
Exactly. Because they have been proven to be bad actors. And they've been proven that every device that they make is a listening device, whether it's actually listening to audible tones or it's logging every keystroke you make on your device. As I'm sitting here on this one happens to be a Lenovo.
You're being skimmed no matter what
That's
device
right.
you have.
That is exactly right. Now, does that mean that, then don't buy a ClevelandMoto because when the embargo hits and they get in trouble for the embargo, it's going to knock ClevelandMoto out of the United States and KTM's going to go out of business.
They're watching me when I'm playing with my phone on the toilet.
Yeah. No, they're not going to do that. They're just going to turn off that feature. They're going to turn off that chip. They're going to put a different chip in there. They're going to have a U.S. version of the vehicle that is slightly different than the home market item. It's not going to shut the company down.
What kind of snacks do robots like? Microchips.
Oh, man, that hurt. You didn't miss anything on that one, $5 level.
Chris?
You missed nothing on that one. I missed nothing at all. But I had a customer today in the shop tell me, this is going to, they're going to take these away. That's the best thing. Trump's going to get in office and he's going to take away all the ClevelandMotos. And he's going to take them and they're not going to be allowed in America anymore. And there's not going to be any support for them. So if you buy one of those fucking bikes, you're out in the cold and there's nothing you can do. So you better not buy that because the writing's on the wall. And I'm like, man, that. Yeah. No. And they make a different version of the refrigerator too that they sell in the United States that's not connected. Mm-hmm. Right. So they can still sell the refrigerator. Samsung or, different LGs. The other one?
LG, Samsung. Yeah, they're the exact same trash because I've had to defrost one of them for 10 goddamn years.
Yeah.
We just had the compressor and motherboard replaced in our LG refrigerator at 3.5 years.
Word from the wise. Don't buy LG.
Luckily, we got the 5-year extended service.
Exactly. Hey, there you go.
Oh, I limped that bastard along just out of spite.
Yeah. So I do believe that this is an important thing. And I do believe that, yes, we should be aware of that, because when we have connected vehicles like that and we're trying to do self-driving, and we're trying to do things like that on the roadways, this is going to put another layer of danger into that thing, because the data can be manipulated and the data can be used by bad actors.
I mean, Huawei basically had 5 years of phones where everything that went through your phone went back to China.
And I don't think that changed one bit with
absolutely
the Pixel
not.
I'm carrying right now.
Oh, yeah, hell no.
If you think I trust...
No, Google knows everything I know.
Right, exactly, right. You can't say how bad Huawei is when you're holding a Google device.
Oh, I know. This is listening to our podcast right now, trying to figure out how to monetize us.
Yeah, and I get those emails, by the way.
Right.
Well,
how many times have I come in and it said we talked about something last night on the podcast, and the next day the bike shows up in my marketplace?
Absolutely, promise you that is absolutely.
I am getting targeted for marketing.
It does seem to be that they've chosen to float this article intentionally to motorcycle guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to float the article to motorcycle guys, they said it's CF Moto. And they didn't say, oh, by the way, it's also these 26 other products that all have the same exact technology in them, or are available with that technology in their home market.
Well, I mean, we talked about what KTM is now going to be CF Moto anyway, so.
You mean they're not?
Well, yeah,
I mean,
that's my point. Is that now that they're shutting down all their European operations to move all their crap to China, and it's all going to be the same crap.
But here's the problem.
It's going to be hard for a lot of people to tell.
All these places, what is their actual motive? They're trying to generate clicks. Right. So you either do that by having like a puppy dog story, or you generate controversy.
Well, it's more to direct your thinking towards society at large. Is the best way to do it. Is they're trying to figure out how to manipulate your thinking so you think in a certain way.
Yeah, I do like that to make sure that story.
Something you clicked on brought you to us, and therefore you're now a part of our Patreon. Send us money. Send us lots of money.
Keep in mind, it worked because we're talking about it. It worked because all the news outlets, every single news outlet says, U.S. lawmakers looking to ban CF Moto via connected whatever. It's not just going to be CF Moto. It's going to be NIU. It's going to be Geely. It's going to be all these other bikes that have that technology already baked into it. Yeah. There's metric shit tons of these bikes.
What software does your Triumph use to talk to you through Bluetooth? Because it is collecting your data every time you connect your phone.
Absolutely. And that chip didn't come from Texas.
And every car, like I get in.
What about all the Buicks from China running
absolutely.
around?
The Enclave and all that crap. Becky's car. Every time I sit in Becky's car, it's a brand new Chevy, and it connects to my phone and says, "Hey, I noticed you've got a Pixel 7. Would you like to buy something from Amazon?" I'm like, "No." And I'll buy it on my own time.
When this article came out, it said, U.S. wants to ban CF Moto next, and possibly Cove almost, Cove also. These stories, keep in mind, Yamaha is partnered with CF Moto. Mm-hmm. Okay, so be careful, guys. KTM's partnered with CF Moto. Hell of a lot of people are partnered with CF Moto right now. They are the belle of the ball.
How soon before Zhongshan gets sanctioned? And Vespa suddenly is looking at, you can't connect Bluetooth to your screen anymore.
It also comes with where does Triumph buy their ECU? Where does Triumph buy their screen? Yeah. What are the capacities of these electronic devices, these TFT panels?
And this is what we have given away for after 25 years of, we'll just move all this over here because it's cheaper.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
This is not an attack on the product. This is an attack on people that have manipulated the product.
Right. And Yamaha's been doing partnership with Zhanshe, depending on how you want to pronounce it, since 1992. Yeah. So if you guys feel like, I can tell you, boy, the Yamaha's really gone down. When I got that Yamaha Vino 125, I'll tell you, the quality really went down. Yeah. When did you buy that? 2018? Yeah. They've been partnered with them since 1992.
That's crazy.
So keep in mind, just, be aware that there is this world economy right now, and that we are, you and me and the guys sitting at this table, we're not part of it.
No.
We're not part of it. We're not buying brand new motorcycles.
Nope.
We're not their target audience. There's absolutely zero chance.
Can you slide the screen up? I want to look at the adventure bikes.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second.
They're good looking bikes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing.
The X-Cape and the X-Cape.
Well, they finally hired people that knew how to. Well, okay, because
I was gonna say, like, the same guys that eyeballed this and said, "Wow, that's a good looking bike," fucking made the other ones and said, "Yep, that's a good looking bike too." Like, it's fucking crazy.
Well, somebody told me once upon a time.
It's the same guy, man. I'm telling you, it's the same guy. It's not the same guy.
It's the same gas tank, though, isn't it?
no. If they put that on there, it would have been better.
Oh my god,
So,
that would be hilarious.
Somebody told me ages ago that Mercedes laid off a bunch of designers, and as a result, Hyundai hired a bunch of designers.
Yeah, that's
and that's why the Genesis exists.
And you can physically see the Genesis.
But God,
right?
whoever the hell decided at Hyundai decided to hire the guy that created the Suzuki Swift, so that they could get that new whatever the fuck it is. It looks like a Suzuki Swift SUV.
It is.
Fire that guy. Just like fire him.
Swift.
If Yamaha was smart, they would have stopped these guys from doing this.
Yeah.
Blown the motor up to 1300 cc's and made this the new Super 10 rate 1300, and it would have sold 1 billion fucking things.
I don't think you're wrong.
Give him 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong on that at all.
Because look at it. It looks like it has like a Yamaha nose, but it has an Africa 20 gas
that
tank.
One on the left with the black with the orange thing, and that is that's the KTM. That's the KTM.
Yeah, right. You're right. I mean, you're right to all of those things, because there hasn't been an original idea hatched in that group.
No.
For a while, everybody's stealing 90% of the other guy's stuff and rubbing your own 10% of secret sauces on it.
The Adventure 690 or whatever it was, the big giant tall thing.
Oh, they're all tall.
Well, no, the KTM 690 Adventure was freaking huge.
Well, KTM was always more performance oriented. So.
It had like 7 foot tall chopper front forks on it and shit.
Yeah, when it comes to the current market, when it comes to looking at these things and going, yeah, I really want to buy that one, it's going to get pretty fucking weird that we're all going to say, okay, which one do you have? Mm-hmm. Don't take the badges off your motorcycle. Because if you take the badges off your motorcycle, we are not going to know what it is. Yeah.
So since we're looking at adventure bikes, something hit me. I was riding last week, and I passed a whole bunch of dudes adventure biking. And don't get me wrong, there are people that adventure bike, right?
Yes.
But the percentage of those people, me being one of the ones that doesn't with an adventure bike, is like 2% of the people with adventure bikes actually do what you're supposed to, right?
Right.
But then it hit me. So as I kept passing all these dudes in like full like fluorescent yellow gear and like all the Schuberth helmets and everything, I was like, man, this is like, it allows a dude who's a complete fucking nerd to be like, I'm cool. I ride an adventure bike.
Nice.
And it hit me just hard like that, because every dude you passed was that guy. Like, besides riding his fucking like GS, he has a train collection. Like, like that's like the other thing the dude does. It was really interesting.
It's pretty funny. I put that posting up about the countries with the most motorcycles in the world, and I'm going to revisit it for just 1 second, because that is 2024.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 2024, and we're making a point. We're just saying that one, there's a list, and Brazil's number 10 at 12.9 million, and there's nobody in the top 10. Nobody in the top 10 from Europe. India, Indonesia, China, Vietnam, Thailand, Pakistan, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, and Brazil. Nobody in Europe is in the top goddamn 10. So I did a little time machine thing. I did a little Google time machine business, right? A little Google time machine business is fun, because then let's look at the way things were in year of our Lord, 1994 to 2019, in that era. The top 10, none of them were Asia. In 25 years. You want to know the way the world has changed? The number one motorcycles per persons was Greece, with 150 bikes per 1,000 people. Italy, Switzerland, Spain, the Czech Republic, Malta, Germany, Finland, and France, right? We still didn't come in the top 20. So, I mean, don't get upset about any of that, because we're not in there. We were number 27 with 27 motorcycles per 1,000 people. Okay. Just right there with Estonia and slightly above Iceland.
But I can prove that that's wrong. Because look, dude, in this room,
I know
there's 300 motorcycles. Look, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand that.
Look, sitting at the auction.
That doesn't help though. That actually makes this number worse.
Sitting at the auction.
Because if it's motorcycles per 1,000 people, and in this room, in this sample size of 5 people, we have 50 motorcycles.
Yeah.
Then that means there's 995 people that don't have to.
All right. I know.
That really hurts our statistics.
I know. If
we have 50 motorcycles for 5 people.
I know. Phil, you own 50 just at the shop.
I probably have. Yeah,
that's why I said 300 between all of us.
I was going to say, like
250.
I don't know.
Like my numbers are in the 20s. I've forgotten.
We have a rule that we don't count anymore.
That's true. After 20, it doesn't matter.
We just don't count anymore. Last time I counted, it was 61, and the number's gone up since then. But it's just different.
When I was in the 30s, I kind of quit.
And I stopped counting anything that was like trade-in fodder, like anything that was like a trade coming in, but is also clearly meant to just haul ass out of the shop.
Right.
But that's just an inventory item.
Shop inventory.
That's an inventory item.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that are like, oh, that's not even in the build. That's not even at the shop. It's at the warehouse or it's at my house. So there's zero chance of it being sold.
Yeah.
I got to count those.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it is funny when you look back in time, when you go back 20 years and you say, okay, computer, answer the same question of who has the most motorcycles. What a difference 20 years makes.
Right.
How crazy different it is that 20 years later, all of a sudden now Europe, the Asian countries have just blasted us. Like everyone blasted the whole world. They got money. They got money and they're spending it and they're buying bikes and their culture's moving, and they're not taking the horse to work any morning. It's pretty interesting. So I thought that was fun.
That's cool.
Pretty interesting transition for what a difference 20 years can make or 24 years can make. Pretty fun. I thought that was.
Well, and also it also just really shows you like how arrogant Americans are.
Yes.
In the sense of like, they make it for us. I guess I was kind of thinking like that too, but when you put it into perspective, that's a pretty dumb position to take.
We have meetings, we have dealer meetings, we have meetings with our suppliers, we have meetings with our vendors, and we always joke that, we know how the economy's doing. We know how next year's going to be doing, whether the meeting has this flavor. We got some new standards we need you to hit. We're doing this, that, and that, and that. Our marketing department's brought out all these amazing things for you. And this is why we know that it's not going to be any problem for you to hit these new inflated numbers. Mm-hmm. I've been hearing that for about the past 4 years. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how they've changed their tone. Mm-hmm. They have changed their tone. And it's also the people that I've usually call and say, hey, I want to talk to this person about a customer support issue I'm having, or talk to that person. Johnny's not here anymore. Well, give me Tim. Timmy's not here anymore. Well, you 3 months ago, you said Timmy was on vacation. Yeah, Timmy's not here anymore.
Yeah, he's still on vacation.
Oh, he's still on vacation. I get it. Okay, great. So there's definitely downsizing happening in my vendors and my suppliers. So that's something to be thought of. When we were bringing up that little chart about the numbers of millions of motorcycles, I did want to make sure that people understood that Brazil was number 10th on the chart with 12.9 million motorcycles.
Wow.
12.9 million motorcycles. Do you know what our sales numbers are for 2024 projected for the end of the year?
I can't.
For the United States, 641,000 motorcycles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot less. Yeah. 641,000 is a lot less than 12.9 million. And if you think we're going to get a major motorcycle manufacturer to really focus on making those Americans happy, you're wrong. Because if I'm looking at a list and I see that Indonesia is selling 112 million and India is selling 221 million and China is selling 85 million, fucking Pakistan is selling, 20 times more motorcycles than we are. Well, so if Pakistan is selling 20 times more motorcycles than we are, well, I would spend my marketing money taking care of even a little tiny Saudi Arabia at 14 million.
So I mean, basically, you were saying 100. How many for Brazil? 110.
Brazil, 12.9 million.
12.9. Okay.
Yeah, 12.9 million. So that's that crazy difference where you're like, you think motorcycles, you think American, riding motorcycles, but we are not even there, man. We're not even close. Being ranked number 75 in the world market does not buy you much buying power.
If everybody in the greater city of New York,
yes,
bought a motorcycle, they would still be 4 million people short.
They'd be pretty short, wouldn't they?
So everybody in New York has to buy a bike tomorrow and then buy a second bike.
Yeah. And
it might catch us up to Brazil.
I get to read a lot of bullshit marketing journal like stuff. They're like, we really want to pat you guys on the back for really rolling with this market and making the most out of it. And we're really seeing some surprising numbers coming out of your territories. And we just are so impressed with your managed to make the numbers and and the whole thing. And meanwhile, I've got MIC numbers. Like, I pay money to be part of a club that tells us how many motorcycles are actually sold, right? And the numbers that I'm getting when I'm like, okay, well, look at that. Sales in my sector are down by like 21.6%. And then my marketing pukes get on the horn with me and they're like, so yeah, we really feel bad about sales being down 5.9% right now. I'm like, really? Because I'm using a national group that reports to everything, and their number is 4 times as dismal as yours is.
So what happens when you educate them that you're educated?
They say, well, those aren't the metrics we use.
Well, then
those aren't the metrics we use.
Then
I'm like, what fucking metrics do you use?
They use the alternative facts.
They send us pictures on Instagram of sad models in cardigans that are like distressed, and they're riding Primaveras through a factory that doesn't have any bikes, and it's really weird.
Yeah. I promise you this: when somebody tells you that the market is up, and it's you have a feeling that it's not, you're probably right. So I wanted to give you guys just a little bit of insider baseball about one of my favorite quotes that we have right now. The beginning of 2024 may have been unremarkable. Translates to, wow, your sales sucked. Mm-hmm. Wow, unremarkable.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is to you personally.
The beginning of 2024 may have been unremarkable, but the industry managed to achieve a slight uptick in sales, reaching 323,091 units by mid-year. Again, a number that means nothing to me.
Right.
And my shop in my city where I am. And he says the industry managed to achieve a slight uptick in sales. Of what? Hats? Right. Like, because it ain't fucking motorcycles.
No, those weird handbags that look like the Marlboro Man single stick bags.
Reflecting a 0.9% increase from the previous year. My friends, I can tell you, look up any trade organization you want to look at where motorcycle sales are right now. You could also look up car sales, camper sales, truck sales, boat sales, any of those sales. Anything that involves a sailboat, whatever. They're all down. They're all down. They're not up. Right. Nobody's up. A 0.9% increase from the previous year. This growth, though modest, underscores the market's inherent stability, even amidst these economic changes. Go fuck your hat.
Yeah, right.
You are so lying to me about everything right now.
Yeah.
Everything. This growth, though modest, 0.9%, that's not even real to begin with. And then we do get, we have other people that we listen to and pay attention to and stuff. And, we can call them and they're the people that count how many titles get transferred.
Hey, Luigi, can't they just look this up on Google to find out we're lying?
Yeah, man.
They don't got that in the U.S.
Oh, it's so bad. It is so bad. That's not from Piaggio, by the way.
Oh,
that's not from Piaggio. Yeah.
Oh.
That's not from Piaggio. But my point being, it's not good. The cultural perception of motorcycles is also changing. While Harley-Davidson once symbolized a rebellious counterculture lifestyle, today's riders are more likely to view motorcycling as a hobby, a sport, or a means of personal expression. Yeah, we never did that before.
No.
Yeah, today's riders, a hobby, a sport, or a means of personal expression? Wait. You're saying that that's today's rider?
Yeah. That's new.
Are you done fucking your hat yet? Because I have another one that I'd like you to fuck. Because fuck you, right? And
today's rider rides out of desperation because they want to get to their third job delivering groceries.
Yes, exactly. Because they can DoorDash slightly better on the motorcycle.
I mean, I know a guy who literally graduated Tulane Law, and he decided to buy a PCX and deliver groceries because he was making more money.
We have customers doing that right now on DoorDash.
Exactly.
You get mugged by the nicest people.
This shift, and mind you, say now, of course, now that today's riders are into it for the reasons of being a hobby, a sport, or a means of personal expression. Today's riders. Mm-hmm. This shift has opened the door for a broader range of motorcycle types to gain popularity as riders look for bikes that align with their lifestyles and values. Oh, you mean the lifestyle of being a hobby, a sport, or a means of personal expression? Mm-hmm. Those are all the things that exactly is Harley Davidson.
Yeah. Well,
personal expression.
Well, sport. I wouldn't go for sport.
Hobby, personal expression.
That
defines everybody who I know that rides a Harley Davidson.
Flat track, fucking drag racing.
I get it, but that's not
racing. I know, but they're out there.
But they start by dogging on Harley because you always kick the guy whose product you don't sell.
Right.
While Harley Davidson once symbolized a rebellious counterculture lifestyle. When was the last time they
didn't?
Dude, they've been conformists in the 70s.
I mean, come on. So anyway, that's some of the things that they're telling us. I also love that they also shit on Harley Davidson in this letter about 4 more times. Oh, wow. To say like, that whole idea is like, well, you think things are bad for you. You could be a Harley dealer right now. And they just keep on saying, just keep in mind, the new rider out there is looking for a more affordable option than Harley Davidson's traditionally premium priced offerings. And that's why Harley Davidson's bringing in fleets of Chinese bikes, right? Yep. And that's why they're doing that. But that's why also Harley Davidson has a used bike program. And that's why Harley Davidson is what Harley Davidson is. But I promise you, in our country, we have some haves and we have a whole lot of have-nots. And the haves in this country are still buying Harley Davidson.
And the have-nots, well, we have an entire fleet.
Let me introduce you to this Dyna. Right. If you're a have-not, you can have this.
If you're a meth dealer, you can buy a Dyna. Probably off your roommate.
So it's getting long in the tooth.
Here we are.
Before we wrap this up.
Let's wrap it.
We were on vacation a week or so ago when this came out, and the final numbers for Mid-Ohio came out, and it was over 70,000 attendees.
70,000 people.
Yes.
At Vintage Days.
Yes.
Damn, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, they broke it all down. There's all these numbers. I'm not going to go all through them, but
that's a lot of people.
Yeah. But vintage motorcycle entries, 786.
Entries into what?
I don't know.
Oh, probably into a show or something. It can't be entries.
Yeah.
Or no, it's a racing. Are those the entries in the race?
Well, no, because they broke that down. So they have, so
how many people entered the damn hair scramble?
468. Brock, okay, let's do it. So vintage hair scramble entries, 468. Brock
468 people in one race.
One race. Yes.
I mean, have you ever seen 468 people at one time?
Yeah, I saw it in Mid-Ohio.
yeah, we were all doing the barrel race at one time, dude. Come on. Did you not see the dust cloud?
I think they're still dealing with that dust cloud. 468 people in one race.
Brock Glover signed 2,734 autographs.
Oh, well, there you go.
Vintage motor.
I think they know that because they had to pay him per autograph.
Read the disclaimer at the bottom.
Oh, something. Entirely possible that some numbers have been exaggerated. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the hair scramble numbers
No. That was just the only one that has a star.
10,500,000 people died.
Vintage motocross entries, 786. AMA membership sold 420 plus. Vintage trial entries, 90. That's impressive.
Injuries to Phil's scrotal anal entry, -1.
Yeah, -1 this year.
We should go with how many grilled cheeses served.
500.
Because we served a lot of grilled cheese.
586 people participated.
Becky and Sean were definitely onto that.
586 people participated in the lap of history.
And how many drinks did we make?
Oh, that is a lot of people in a lap of history.
And there's a couple other stats, but
damn, that is a lot of people.
That was pretty cool, though.
We had at least 5 trips worth of ice.
I do know that felt like a big event, and then that clarified it. 70,000 people.
You know what? There were several times in that event where I had to go from where we were camped, which is the extreme one end of the event.
Right.
And then I had to go to get somebody in a gate or give somebody a pass or something. And I had to go to the extreme opposite end of the event, like way over at the other gate. Mm-hmm. And I had to ride through all that shit. Mm-hmm. And I had to ride through fucking all of it.
Oh, yeah.
And that whole thing about like, and you're kind of moving along because the people are waiting for you. You don't want to make them wait too long or whatever. And so you're kind of moving along and trying to wiggle through it as quickly as you can. And that's that thing is like, that at Mid-Ohio, when you say Red Ball Express, I got to get from this point to that point, and you're going to go on the perimeter. You're going to basically go not diagonally across the son of a bitch. You got to go all the way around because there's a racetrack in the middle of people doing things on it.
Yep.
So you got to go around the outside with all the great unwashed. And I am slicing through traffic like a New York delivery boy.
Yeah.
And I get to the other side and I'm like, that was a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was just a ton of people.
Oh, I made the stupid mistake of driving across.
Can't do that.
No.
When we're doing the prepresentation.
Yeah.
So we drove over and got showers, and here I am driving a Chevy Equinox through the whole crowd, the air conditioner blasting,
actual car,
driving through Pakistan.
I knew this year was big when I saw the people from India all sitting there from their traffic departments analyzing the fucking traffic to take the data back. Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
The best control is no control.
Yeah.
Let them figure it out.
And it worked. Like it was, I kept waiting for me to hit a 13-year-old kid.
The filtering, the 37 lane wide filtering was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
At the main gate.
Pretty great.
When like the people would wait for a truck to go by and then it would go by and then you'd be like,
I came through with the truck and the trailer on and it was full on like loaded and everybody's trying to get in the campsite. Everybody's trying to get the right. And it's just chaos. And I got the big ass van, I got the big ass trailer, and I got to go to two places. I got to go to unload at the swaps meet spot, and I got to go back to the camp. So I'm going to be doing a lot of horrible shit with a lot of people around me, and it's not 4 a.m.
Right.
So I got to be able to, like, I am literally a whale among a bunch of little feeder fish. And that's what I was doing. And I was using that mentality as just be big, be steady, and clarify your intentions. Telegraph your moves so that everybody around you doesn't get surprised when you do something stupid. And it's amazing that nobody just dies in there just from getting hit by like some grandpa with a trailer.
I have I'm not quite to the side-by-side yet, but I'm really convinced next year it might be golf cart time.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Are you guys ready for the last story of today's podcast? I saved the best for last.
Hit it.
There is no graphics for this.
Tom's got sound effects though with his cable back.
This is every time I move, it drags across your. It literally drags across the back of your neck.
It's terrible for the listeners too. It's awful. So, okay, here's the deal. World record. This is legit. This is in the books. 12 hours. 106 miles. I'll let you do the math real fast. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the record. 106 miles in 12 hours. On a sidecar rig. In reverse.
Oh my God. That's insane.
I'm glad you think so.
Just driving that far oh wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. I know the answer is because Guinness Book of World Records, but the obvious question is why?
What? Because it ain't never been done before.
Okay, congratulations.
Right? Yeah. So they are running a Honda SH150 scooter with a fully committed, and I got to say, probably one of the biggest sidecar rigs I've ever seen associated with a Honda SH150 scooter. But it is set up to run backwards. Now, that means that to satisfy the competition, it can't be some modified vehicle that only runs backwards, right? So they have got this thing going backwards using the Honda motor, and they are going to go backwards on the salt flats because they don't want to hit anything.
Yeah.
Because you need the salt flats. They're going to go backwards, and they're going to go 106 miles. pretty fucking cool.
Is
It's going to
that-
take them 12 hours.
Are they going in a circle or is there a salt flat that's 100?
Well, actually, it turns out the vehicle they're going to use is they're going to use your raw gear up because it has reverse.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, 'cause
their other land speed record, the
'cause
other
the Honda-
record they did was
the Honda SH is that I'm in my head trying to figure out how to make that engine run backwards, and I can't do it.
yeah, you just flip the transmission. You literally take the final primary drive gear in the transmission, flip it around the other way, I guess. But the more important thing as far as this, they're going to use your raw. They're going to use your raw gear up. This last world record they did was on the scooter with the sidecar, but they're using it a raw gear up because it has reverse, and so they're going to be going in reverse for 106 miles for 12 hours.
That's crazy.
That is fucking bonkers.
Seems like mind-numbingly boring. Might
Yeah,
be the actual
well, you're going, what, 5? No.
10.
10.
10.
10 miles an hour.
10 miles an
backwards.
hour.
9 point something.
10 miles an hour.
Like, I
backwards.
get it. I mean, hey, we're going to Guinness Book of World's Record for being boring for 10 hours.
We just drove hearses down a street
Yeah, see?
for 5 miles and got in the Guinness Book of World Record because there was just a
Exactly.
lot of us.
Right.
Right. There was a preponderance of us.
Like-
Apparently, though, so now gauntlet thrown, you need a Ural, you need a gear up, and you need to go 110 miles.
What do you have? What's
backwards?
Do you have to? Okay, so here's a question about this.
Yeah.
The bike's going backwards. That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you have to face backwards?
I have no idea.
Because that's a big question.
I have no idea.
Because I know you can make a Vespa run backwards by just flipping the ignition. Yeah. Because that's the easy part.
Change
You just
timing
fucking
enough, it
change
goes
timing
back.
enough, it'll run backwards all fucking day long. And that bastard will run 70 mile an hour backwards.
yeah.
So that rally to, you know, the Stella we got kicking around at the shop with the sidecar on it, flip that backwards.
The
If they're on-
SH150 with the sidecar, the scooter, they only rode that around the world. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Noobs.
Just around the world. It's no big deal. But yeah, going backwards, whether you're sitting forwards or like sitting on the handlebars
That's the question.
facing the wrong way.
If I'm going backwards with the handlebars behind me, you know, if I have this handlebar set up and going backwards on a Stella doing
you're
60
sitting on
mile
the
an hour
handlebars.
backwards,
Yeah,
let's
right.
go.
Let's go. Yeah,
But if I got to do this at a Ural at 10 miles an hour, I am going to be bored as fuck.
oh no, I think it's going to be. I think that's the endurance part of it.
right.
Right.
I am so bored, I just pissed myself.
And I also tell you that sidecar rigs don't handle great when they're going forwards.
Exactly.
And when they're going backwards, I've ridden the Ural in reverse. And I've tried doing it in 2-wheel drive, and it doesn't turn at all.
No. Oh, I can't imagine.
The wheel just doesn't do anything. The steering wheel does nothing at all. So I took it out of 2-wheel drive, put it back in 1-wheel drive, and then I realized that when you're going backwards, the tendency of the sidecar to upside down itself happens instantly. It just fucking just starts. As soon as you start going backwards, all your body English is going the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you cock the wheel this way and you put your weight to the inside, that's wrong.
Oh, no.
It is just the exact opposite. So if you ever get like an ATC and you have an ATC and you throw it in reverse and you're like, I'm going to back up and I'm going to go back around this pole, you'll probably flip it. Yeah, you'll probably flip it because it is the exact opposite of where you think your body weight should be.
That makes sense, though.
It's very scary. And I nearly flipped a 700-pound Ural rig in the dirt on uneven pavement. And it was, And the only thing that saved me was I jumped off the fucking thing and caught it with my hands and pushed it back down.
So
again.
what do you think that their steering is limited to like 5 degrees in either direction?
Yeah, probably.
And with some kind of dampers or something.
I would hope.
You know?
Yeah, because it can get real stupid real fast.
Yeah. Just, I mean, even
Backwards,
going 10. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're
Backwards
right.
on a 3-wheeler is no bueno.
Yeah.
So anyway, ta-da.
Yeah.
That's pretty
cool.
fun. All right, anybody's got anything else?
No.
It's your last chance. All right.
think
If
we're
that's
good.
all there is, my friends.
Johnny Mac's already asleep, so.
Yeah, we're going to wake him up real quick so he can play us out. Johnny Mac, get us out of here, man. Ride fast. Take chances. All right, hit the red button. Check.